Here we are, drop the puck. Another day of ice hockey. You can't fault yesterday's great two games, which has culminated in this final day between Widnes Wild and Sutton Sting. I'm joined by two great ice hockey players from the NIHL, Steve Fellows of Dragons 2, and of course Aaron Davies of Blackburn Hawks. Guys, welcome to Drop the Puck. You looking forward to today's games?
Yeah, I am actually. Me and Steve have just been going through the lineup actually just then, and we were looking at a few of the players, and it's going to be a lot of younger players, but there's also a lot of experienced players out there, so we can see it's going to be a very, very close game.
Of course, Steve, you played a lot of these teams. You've played Widnes and you played Sutton. Are they hard teams to play?
Yeah, they certainly are. Walking into the building just now, I feel so excited for the game tonight and the players. You know, this is what you play hockey for. This is what the season's all about. And they've made it to the final, so they're all going to be, you know, they're going to be finishing their hits, they're going to be working as hard as they can. You know, everything's at stake tonight, isn't it? So it's going to be just like it was yesterday. It's going to be a fantastic event.
Of course, both of you are experienced being in playoff finals, and of course, D-side won it 2 years ago. Obviously, Blackburn Hawks last year. So
and the year before that.
And the year before that.
The invincible year. You
know,
yeah, just got to throw that in
we can't
there,
let that go, can we? Okay.
Exactly.
But
so
you've obviously tasted it as a player, being in that final. What's the atmosphere like in the dressing room?
You get a lot of players that are nervous in a way that, you know, it can affect their game. So I'm the total opposite. I'm very relaxed when it comes to a final. A couple of years ago, I spent more time watching my iPad and talking to my girlfriend than I did actually concentrate on the final, because if I can take my mind away from it, then, you know, I've just been speaking to Danny Bullock just before, and he's dancing, he's having a laugh and a joke, and he's like, do you know what, I'm just going to treat this as any other game. I know it's a final, but he said I'm going to treat it as any other game, and I'm just going to keep that sort of mindset. That way I'm not going to get the pressure on me, and I'm not going to make the mistakes when I've got the pressure. So, you know, that's a great way of thinking, because that's how I've always been, and to me personally that's the best way of being, because as soon as you take, you know, like Steve said, it's a big game today, it's a final. So as soon as you start thinking way too much into that, you're going to start making mistakes, and then you're going to start beating yourself up, and it's going to get to a point where you're playing the occasion. You don't need to play the occasion, you just need to play your hockey, play your game, and everything else will follow.
Steve, the younger guys, you already hit on that just then. Obviously, it's going to mean more to them because it'll probably be their first time. The nerves are going to be stronger for them. Do you think it'll affect their game much? The
key issue is to get them first shifts out of the way, you know, get into the game, get a touch for the puck, a feel for the game, feel for the tempo of it. And, you know, once you get the first few shifts out of the way, then you get into the stride of things, you get into the flow of the game. So, you know, the young guys here, in this league, there's some fantastic young lads coming through the ranks. There really is. Certain credit to them, hunger, desire, and again with Widnes as well, they've got some great cracking lads coming through. A lot more, I would say, a lot more experience on the Widnes team than with the Sutton team. But you know, them first few shifts, get them out of the way, and we'll go from there. Yeah.
Well, you're saying about the teams there. Both teams made their way to the final. Sutton had a struggle getting through. Although we know they're a tight-knit team and they're quite young and that, but they went through 4-3 over Telford, which was a bit of a shock really, because Telford came with the idea of coming away with some sort of silverware as their Division 1 team has. But Sutton had different plans for that. Widnes, on the other hand, a battle on their hands, and they came from behind to draw level at 5-5, and then that fabulous penalty shootout, which you can catch on our BASN radio YouTube channel, along with all of the playoff games from this weekend. But getting to Widnes, do you think they've got the right mindset coming into this final, knowing after a game like that last night where it went all the way to penalties? Do you think that'll put them in good stead for this one?
Do you know what? I think what happened last night, coming from behind to tie the game, to then win it in overtime, it will drive this team forward today. It really will, because that is one hell of a way to get to a final. And when you've worked so hard to get your foot in the door for today, then that gives you that confidence to go to the next level. So watch your space with that.
Of course, being in their home barn, Aaron, the fans are going to be really loud tonight. That's got to help them as well.
Yeah, you know, you always say that there's always an extra person on the ice when you got your home fans. You know, they're going to be driving them. I'm sure a lot of them will be playing to the fans as well. You know, at the end of the day, if you're buzzing off the fans, you know, your mentality of a final just goes out the way. You relax, and you know, well, I've never been here before to watch this sort of game, but I understand that the fans here are quite loyal and they're quite loud. You know, walking in before the air horns are already going on outside. So Widnes have the advantage with it being home ice, but we could have said that yesterday, and you just said, you know, it went to a penalty shootout. You know, they had an opportunity. But like Steve also just said, you know, they're coming into today's game high. They're coming in, we came back from 5-2, we won in penalty shots, but they're going to be playing in the first couple of shifts on adrenaline because their legs are going to be tired, you know, fatigue's going to kick in. And
I was going to say that because obviously being 2 games in 2 days, it must take its toll on the team.
Well, I don't know about Steve, because Steve with his glass back, he can cope with 1 game, you know, so...
as well, isn't it? Yeah. You know, it's the little things to consider, isn't it, as well? So, you know, like we just said, a lot of these lads possibly would have gone home last night to bed, hopefully an early night. You know, that doesn't always happen. But sometimes when you maybe Sutton, some of the lads might have been staying, maybe going out, you know, maybe it's taken its toll yesterday. So, you know, we don't quite know what will happen. What we do know is I've played on this rink, and it's absolutely brilliant for that the fans, the supporters to get behind. You know, very passionate hockey club here, and it really does put that little spring in your stride when you're playing. So I should imagine with the support they'll get behind Widnes, they'll do really well.
So let's take a look at the players in today's game. I mean, key players that shone out over the semi-games. For the Sting, you've got to say Scott Morris, an influential player, but yesterday spent 34 minutes off the ice. I mean, that was almost detrimental to the team, but he's going to be vital for them today.
Yeah, I mean, you can't afford to be taking penalties in a situation like that, because that will cost you the game. So, you know, I know there's a lot at stake, so you have to be disciplined in your hockey for today, because, you know, them silly little penalties that you could take maybe throughout the season, today, it's about today, and it will cost you.
Well, Scott Morris, do you think he'll be more disciplined today?
Yeah, as captain of his team, he's going to have to be. At the end of the day, you know, he's got to be a leader on the ice, and sat in the penalty box isn't leading his team. So I've played against him a few years back, and I know the player quite well. And he needs. This is, you know, it's a final. You know, especially your captain needs to stand up and be counted for.
Well, he scored 2 yesterday and 1 assist. So I mean, it was vital in that 4-3 win. But of course, on the other hand, you've got Lazchek there. He was a key player as well. He got into some good places, but he's got a lot of experience, that guy.
Well, only by what you guys have gone on today, saying about, you know, his stats previously, where he's played and things. So, you know, but experience, you've got a lot of young lads there as well. So
they were going to be hungry and want that. Yeah, I can understand that.
It also picks up your other guys as well, because when you've got good guys like that in your squad, then that raises the other guys, because he's a role model for the players. So they're learning, they're developing, they're growing as hockey players when they're training, getting on the ice with guys like that. So it brings out the best.
Well, the other players, let's look at Widnes, for instance. We know for a fact they'll have their stalwart captain. He's going to be a key player. He got quietened down a lot yesterday. They kept him quiet in the first period. And almost in the second period, whereas the Jets came back and had a storming 5-goal second period. But I think he's going to be a bit more free-flowing on the ice today, and he'll have a chance to command his players as he normally does.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of experience there. When looking at, you got Simon Offord, Lee Kemp, Jeff Wigglesworth. You know, these lads have been around and they know how to play the hockey. You know, you've got Stuart Brittle, who's been around hockey many years. So you've got the experience there that actually will take some kind of weight off his shoulders, especially, you know, a few of these lads played a couple of years ago for Sheffield in Solway in the League One in playoffs, the year we beat them.
You have to get that one in.
Yeah, I had to get that one in because that was our invincible year, so I have to keep, you know, saying that. But no, with, you know, Stuart Brittle's a fantastic player, and when you've got a player like him, and like I said, you've got, you know, Bez Hughes and a few of the others, that can actually lead the team away from the pressure from Ollie, you know, because he's got to concentrate on his game as well as coaching the lads, but when you've got the experience there, you know, Turner's another one, you know, he can lead from defence easily. He can see the game and he can help out. And I think that's how they'll command it. I don't think he'll sit back and just coach, or you know, he needs to rely on the rest of his team, especially with the experience that they've got.
Steve, you've played against Widnes and you've had a couple of close games here. I know we covered one on Drop the Puck early in the season. That formidable front line of theirs, of Manning and Brittle, and obviously, of course, Barron as well. Are they difficult to deal with defensively?
I think that night, the first 2 periods, we got quite lucky because it was a 1-goal period with our guys going into the third, wasn't it? But then once they turned it on, the third period, they just flew away with the game because they have got that in the locker. When they choose to switch it on, they've got it there. Just looking at the talent there, 4 strong lines. All lines can probably score goals. So, you know, that is a very strong line for them. Yeah. Well,
of course, Ollie Bannon was saying to Ben in the interviews after the game last night that he was pleased that they'd won, but he was a little concerned about the fact that they needed to pull it together a bit more. Let's hope that they go into the dressing room today prior to face-off and they get things sorted. It's going to make for a good game. But with that, I think it's time for us to go down to the ice. And we're going to hand over to our commentary team today of Dave Griffiths and Ben Lee.
Thanks, Gary. Here we are on ice level, taking a look at the Sutton Sting. And their starting netminder, that would be Warren Guilfoyle. Great game he had yesterday.
Yeah, certainly, Dave. He certainly gave the Tigers a hard time trying to get that puck past all over the ice yesterday. A credit to the team there.
Came into yesterday's game with a 90.27% save percentage. Taking a look in the Wild net. Ben.
So between the pipes for the Wild, Matt Croyle. Croyle's certainly going to be tired after that extended overtime shootout last night against the Hull Jets. But Croyle coming into this with a save percent average of 93.52. Certainly going to be a tough day at the office for those Sting forwards.
Yeah, it was a late night last night with the extended overtime and shootout. So we'll see how that will impact here on the Widnes Wild. Of course, Widnes Wild are the away team in this game. So they're going to be sat on a bench that they're not normally on.
Yeah, foreign soil for them, Dave, or foreign ice.
So we are ready to drop the puck in the grey and the blue. We have the Sutton Sting. Black with the yellow trim is the Widnes Wild.
And I must say, they look very spiffing, Dave.
They do indeed. Puck is dropped, and this game is on. We have both starting lineups by the look of things out at the number 1 lines.
Yeah, these are the first line there you can see of the Widnes Wild of Barron, Brittle and Manning. We've spoke about it in the introductions of the show. We spoke about it in the previous shows as well. It's a very formidable line as Barron just takes the net clean off its moorings there.
You can see Scott Morris is on the ice for Sutton Sting. We haven't seen him since the middle of the third period of the last game because he was ejected from the ice.
And speaking with him in his interview last night, Dave, that is something he does regret, and obviously I expect the discipline of Sutton today to be immense. They're going to keep every guy on the ice there to make impact.
So face-off is going to be to the left of Guilfoyle's net, as the net was replaced on its moorings there. That was our first stoppage in play in the opening minute. It's allowed a line change for Widnes. As the Sting play it out of their net, chip that to neutralise. Laschek has it, going to take the shot. First save of the night there for Croyle.
Yeah, they need to shut Laschek down very early on, Widnes. We spoke about it again in the introduction. You heard Aaron and Steve both say he's got that experience. You know, don't give him time on the puck, otherwise he will pepper pot Croyle's net.
Laschek dekes, just slows down a little as he takes that deke and just pulls his line mate Ryan Johnson offside. And that's going to bring about quick line change for the Sutton Sting. See Saunders lining up there with Mauer.
Widnes now deciding to ice their third line. Wigglesworth and Mauer. Jackson all out there now.
Sutton trying to play that out. They get it out. And now it's a race for the puck. Doxley's got it. Doxley takes a shot. Couldn't get that on net.
Just wide there, Dave. That was a good opportunity early on.
And so back at centre ice, Sutton Sting dumped that in. And the Wild forced back for it. You can see there Barron and Kemp controlling the puck, but we've got a break in play. Nice in call.
And you can already see the game plan of the Sting is to come out and try and get that early goal in, upset the balance of the Wild.
And with somebody like Doxey with a burst of speed there, just breaks away. He's got 24 points on the season. Product of Sheffield Steel Dogs. That's the puck sent around the boards. Opposite side, puck loose. And with Butterworth moving in on him, Croyle decides to cover that up.
Yeah, when it's out in the blue paint there, first thing you tend to do is seal that out. You don't want to give any opportunity for poking in or rebounds.
Face-off is going to be to the left of Croyle. Butterworth's going to take it for Sutton Sting. But he's beaten to the puck there by Stuart Brittle. Manning tries to get that to Brittle, he does. Brittle's in alone though, takes a shot. Martin manages to clear. That's going to force Simon Offord back, the captain of the Widnes Wild, and we get a souvenir puck up here, Ben.
I'm looking forward to keeping that one. But obviously, hockey is a dangerous sport. Obviously, if you are in the arena, you do need to keep your eyes on the puck at all times.
Indeed. Even if you're commentating. And so, face-off's going to come just outside the Widnes zone. Morris wins that for the Sutton Sting. Pyatt dumps that on net. Croyle looked like he was going to cover that up. He decided to play it out. Puck right the way around the boards, down into Sutton's zone.
Icing looked like he was waved off there.
Last check took the puck in the corner. Plays that cross ice. Ends up with Offord. Offord cross ice to Valles.
Ooh,
huge collision there.
Morris and Valles there together. Valles just dropping the hip and riding Morris over his back.
And Morris looking to play physical early on here, early doors, 3 minutes in.
And of course, the Sutton Sting do not want to be doing that because that feeds right into the game plan of the Widnes Wild. They love physicality.
Puck won by Butterworth for Sutton Sting. Sent cross ice, along the boards. Couldn't play that in. Wait, miscue there, and Hughes had to drop back for it for the Wild. They choose to dump that out, right down the ice to the Sting. And that's going to be an icing call.
A lot of dump and chase hockey over this weekend, Dave. A lot of the teams deciding to try and savour the legs to go late in the game.
And it was something we saw on both games, that when they did decide to play that puck deep into the crease, good things were happening. The dump and chase was not working during the semi-finals. The question is, when do these teams change the game plan?
Well, at the moment, Widnes played a cracking defensive formation in the first period of that semi-final, keeping Hull to the outside of the ring. Wasn't kept up in the second, and that's where Hull capitalised. They're going to need to do the same again with Sutton today. Drive that puck up the middle when they do have it, and then when Sutton are on the puck, force them to the outside.
Sutton had an opportunity there. Puck was loose right in front of the net, and it was almost on the stick of Mitchell. Break in play. There was a miscue with Williamson that forced him to hold on to a make sure he wasn't offside. By the time he got the men in, the game plan had changed somewhat. The Wild come up with that behind their net. Send it off the boards. Picked up by Jackson. Chose to dump it.
As you can hear the fans at the Wilds Arena here today in full ice, Planet Ice Widnes, in full voice even.
As they were yesterday, it's a big
out.
game, and as was mentioned by Aaron on the pre-game show.
Big hit again goes in. Jackson, he's going to go for charging.
The difference a big crowd can do, big loud crowd can make to your team. As Thomas Jackson goes to the box for a charge in. It's our first penalty of the game. It's assessed at 15:49. And it's going to mean that Widnes is sure-handed for 2 minutes.
Well, Widnes certainly not strangers to the penalty kill, but what they do not want to be doing is putting themselves in a position early on where they're having to play the penalty kill a lot, kill off a lot of time. It will wear down on the stamina and the legs, and Sutton being the younger side, they've got the power.
Last check. Sends it to the line. Goodman through traffic. Puck's loose. Shot. Stopped by Croyle. Joseph Colton got a piece of that there.
Yeah, dangerous position right out in front there. You do not want Colton hanging around your crease there, trying to poke one in, because he will.
They've still got 1:43 of this power play, Sutton. And a face-off in the Wild zone. You can see last check is ready to pounce there on the wing.
Of course, the face-off, one of the most underrated key points of hockey, Dave, because it can literally turn the tide of the game.
Of course, one good pass from a face-off can change everything, certainly would in this game so far.
And we saw that yesterday, of course, for the Widnes Wild, that face-off leading to that Dittnell goal early on.
Last check couldn't keep that in. And so it's Barron. Brittle and Barron. Brittle's got it behind the net. He's looking for Barron out front. Valles is free as well. Goodman gets the puck though. Comes away with it, plays it back to Morris. Morris penned in, he turns back with it.
Sutton there finding the man on the overlap.
Shot there from Martin. And now Goodman. Goodman had some good shifts in the semi-final.
Yeah, it was certainly a key point for Sutton there.
As Williamson forced back for that one as Widnes Wild take a line change.
Widnes trying to play the high forecheck pressure there. Mikey Gilbert playing very high.
Doxey to Williamson, back to Doxey. He's in that corner, looking to play it out to Vaschek. Will he take the shot? Takes it. Deflected wide into the net. We've got 14 minutes remaining in this first period. And of course, let's take a look at Stanislav Laschek. Comes to this team from the Hull Pirates.
He does, Dave, but one of the more interesting facts about his career, he was actually the 133rd pick in the NIHL draft back in 2005.
A big draft that was.
To the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, in the class of 05 alongside him there, drafted was Oshie as well.
Dittnell takes a shot. That's stopped by Guilfoyle.
Another great shot from Dittnell. Dittnell, bit of a stalwart at Widnes, had a spell at D-side last season, and of course scored that important shootout goal last night to bring Widnes into this final today.
Valiant effort there from Dittnell. Takes the shot even though they're sure-handed for another few seconds. Stopped there by Manning. He's going to be able to turn that around, and with that, the Widnes penalty expires. Both teams back to full strength now as Morris takes the shot from the point.
Good blocker save there from Croyle.
Turns it round, but it's stopped by Valles, who gives it to Dipnell. Plays it up front. Tried to get that to Wigglesworth. Dipnell couldn't make anything of that out front. Wigglesworth takes a shot. Had an open net there, couldn't convert.
Good effort from Wigglesworth there, putting his body down to try and get at that puck.
Curzon now. Tried to go one-on-one with Offord. Wigglesworth just smacks the stick away there, and that's going to be a delayed call. So Wigglesworth, a slashing penalty.
Wigglesworth, obviously not a stranger to the box, spent a bit of time in there yesterday, and he'll be retaking his seat today.
No doubt not happy with himself for drawing that call. But I think what we learned yesterday was try not to show that frustration on your way to the box.
Certainly.
Semi-finals drew a few misconduct penalties from behaviour on the way.
And we were talking pre-game, Dave, you passed comments, and quite rightly, the officials, with it being on such a dignified event, will want to stamp their authority early on this game.
Of course, the referees here are making sure that they call this straight down the middle. Blaschik's back on the ice. Not been off for long. Of course, the Sutton Sting, they're relying heavy on those front few lines, Ben.
Yeah, you know, Blaschik yesterday was a very prolific shooter, you know, especially from outside the blue line. So they're going to want to keep him there. And of course, Colton as well, when he was getting the puck, driving it straight through the middle, as he is now. And, you know, the likes of Turner and Kemp, they're going to need to keep an eye on him and just brick wall him all day.
Right up the line is Brittle. Couldn't make much of that. And here comes Sutton. Last check. Shot was stopped there. That was a shot courtesy of Colton. Picked up by Gilbert and turned around. Offord forced back for it, chips it away. And in comes Sting again. They've still got 44 seconds of the power play. Shot from Doxey.
Great penalty kill so far from Widnes.
Vaschek tried to skate that down, and it was cleared by Gilbert. Nice bit of penalty kill there with 28 seconds left in this penalty to kill. Valles takes the puck.
Oh, and Valles just running over. Looks like Williamson there. Well, Valles, for the second time, proven he's capable of going physical if needs be. Pavel Valles, bit of a dark horse really for Widnes. Johnson takes a shot, stopped by the blocker. Troy bats that one away. Shot from the point by Morris. Great ball play from Dipnell there. Widnes Wild return to full strength. Jeff Wigglesworth's back and he's got the puck. Wigglesworth turns it around, chooses to dump and chase. It's going to give his line mates time to change after that. Special teams. Nearly halfway through this period now. Scoreless so far. Must say, Dave, though, it is a very free-flowing period. The officials allowing the game to flow. It is. I think both teams learnt a lot from how this game would be officiated during the semi-finals. Had the chance to feel out how the games would be called. And so far, so good. Doxey brought that in, but just offside. He had Matt Jeffcock perched on the blue line, had to clear out the way. So with 10 minutes and 11 seconds left in the first period, we've got a face-off in front of the Wild's away bench. Wild win that one. Tried to play it off the boards. Williamson chips away at that. Gets it back to Doxey, and Doxey tries for the play. Ooh, trying to find a man out in front there. Williamson perched right in front of the goaltender's crease. Sting come away with the puck behind the net. Number 16, Saunders. Offered some great ball play there, just isolating that man out of that play. not allowing the Sting to have full control.
Doxy again chooses to dump it this time at the end of a long shift. Valles plays it up to Brittle, sends it on net. Guilfoyle chooses to play that. And in comes Laschek, takes the shot. Valles just stayed with him though all the way in.
And that's exactly what he's got to do there, Dave. Pavel Valles has got to be sitting in the pocket of Laschek, so anytime he gets that puck, he sticks right round the front there, up on that, you know, trying to get that rubber. They can't allow Laschek time to shoot, and if you're going to put a guy on him, Pavel Valles is a great person to choose.
Pavel Valles, who comes to Widnes Wild from Czech Division 3. Some valuable experience over in a fantastic hockey setup. Tried to get that puck.
Two men tying up there in the middle.
Bullock brought down by Morris, and Morris is going to go to the box for that. And he doesn't look happy with the interference call. He's not happy at all with that one.
Well, we spoke to him last night, Scott Morris. He did say that the last thing he wanted to do was take himself off the ice. He did need every man out there. It would count today. He's not going to be happy with himself. You can see the frustration, but just reeling it in today. Doesn't want to get that misconduct penalty as well. And for the first time tonight, Wilder on the power play.
9 minutes left in the first period, and it's Wild power play. To the point. This crowd's waking up now. Manning takes the shot. Goes back out to Valles. Valles takes the shot through some traffic. Ollie Barron stationed right next to the net there. Couldn't get it. Valles keeps it in, takes a shot.
Great pressure from Widnes so far.
Great rink awareness by Valles there. Brought himself offside, but Offord was able to pick the puck up. Now the Sting. Goodman trying to eat up some of that time. Dumps it down, and of course the Wild players, they've already gone back into their zone. They were expecting that. They just waited. Down to Croyle, plays it out to Offord. Offord's being chased though. He's got Dominic Martin on his tail. Valles gives it to Manning. Manning forced back. Colton stops that puck.
Good stop there from Colton.
Offord tries to chip that. Ollie Barron forced against the boards for it.
Sting chewing up a minute of this penalty already.
A conservative power play effort from the Widnes Wild, and Sutton Sting showing the pressure, trying to keep them out of their zone. But when the Wild are in the Sutton Sting zone, they're taking it to the net.
Certainly are. Trying to get a good rotation going. Sting certainly injecting themselves in there, trying to disrupt the rhythm. Right now, though, only 30 seconds remain on this penalty. Widnes certainly need to make this capitalise.
Shot, puck loose out front. Barron was chipping at that. And that's going to be a call. Barron's going to go to the net. Looks like goaltender interference. Oh, that would seem to be John Williamson's gone to the box.
So Williamson for the Sting now going to sit 2 minutes.
Looked like it might have been some goaltender interference with Barron being in front of the net, but no. That was an interference call against Sting. Shot and a goal! Widnes Wild with a power play goal to open up this game.
Well, it's what they wanted. It's the start they were looking for. The fans are absolutely loving it.
What did Stuart Morris say last night in our interview about staying out the box? It was his power play. It was his penalty that resulted in that goal.
Yeah, Scott Morris saying, obviously, the more time he spent on the ice, the more impact he could have. The minute he came off the ice, you know, it was that sort of thing that cost them yesterday. It's cost them again today. And now the Wild take the 1-0 lead.
Of course, that was a 5-on-3, so the Widnes Wild have still got 1 minute and 45 seconds worth of power play. So, the Widnes Wild. Brittle to Valles. Brittle chooses to skate that in. Gives it to Barron. Cross-ice pass. Manning tries for the wraparound. Puck's loose out again. Valles has it. Takes a shot through traffic. Still a minute left in this power play.
5 on 4 in favour of Widnes, and right now they are certainly making that count.
Puck behind Widnes, behind Sutton's net. Brittle takes a shot. They're taking their time now, trying to set something up. Sting tried to clear, they couldn't. And in comes Brittle, takes another shot. Offered. Sends it off the boards to Manning. Valles is clear.
Looking
Chooses
for
to
the
go
back
cross ice
ball.
to Brittle. And another shot. Valles at the point, shot through traffic. Lots of redirection, but Guilfoyle stays solid.
You see Barron there trying to set up that screen.
And the Sting managed to clear that. That should be the end of the power play there. Few seconds left until Williamson's back on the ice. Here he comes. So 5 minutes left in this first period. Wild with another big chance.
Well, the officials have blown that, but that actually did deflect out of Guilfoyle's chest, back out into open play. Widnes, I don't think, are going to argue that, though, being 1-0 up, Dave.
Bullock with another big opportunity there for the Wild. So Sutton win that face-off. Give it to Johnson. Last check, couldn't keep hold of that. Poked away by Turner. Dipnell. Nice to chip it away. Last check has it again. Sutton onside. Shot.
Croyle.
High into the glove of Croyle.
Right into that glove there. You can see absolutely awesome reflexes, Dave. And you have to be, if you want to be a goaltender. And you can hear by the noise who the favourite team is here at Planet Ice Widnes today.
And it's rare that that's the away team, Ben.
Very rare.
Wild. The struggle there to clear it. Wigglesworth has it and was just held up by Pyatt. Pass was high. Chipped in by Bracegirdle. 4.5 minutes left in the first. Williamson to the cross ice. Bracegirdle sent it off the boards and in. And the Widnes Wild are offside.
Well, Dave, I've noticed that Widnes have stepped this tempo up late into this first period, really taking it to the Sting now. Obviously trying to capitalise on every power play opportunity they're given. And that power play unit there, quite fruitful, really.
Absolutely. And this is another reason why both teams need to stay outside of that penalty box. Keep it 5 on 5. As we mentioned during the semi-finals, the ice, as nice a surface as this is, it's a little narrow. You open it up.
Barron.
With some 5 on 4 or 5 on 3, and good things happen.
Certainly, and we've said it so many times in this broadcast, this is obviously the home pad of the Wild. They're going to know every inch of this ice like the back of their hand. And Barron there just showing whose house it actually is and letting off a ripper of a shot there straight to Guilfoyle.
4 minutes left in the first period. Brittle lined up with Butterworth, ready for the face-off. Wild win that one, but couldn't keep it in the zone. Offord tries to turn that around. And that's going to be another stoppage in play. And these kind of stoppages, Ben, they must really affect the momentum for both of these teams.
Certainly, you can tell, both offensive units are trying to get a flow going. And with this stop-start, it's not really going to favour either team.
So the face-off's going to be taken from centre ice. Brittle tried to play that in, gave the puck up to the Sting, who sent it down to their netminder. Goodman tried to play it to Morris. Wild recover the puck. And the Wild now on the offense. Barron looking for Manning, and Manning scores! It's a goal for the Widnes Wild late in the first period.
Well, you saw it there. It's as Gary said in the studio earlier and all yesterday during the broadcast. Widnes love to drive it deep in behind the net, look for that pass out. It's exactly what they did with Barron. Manning was exactly where he needed to be, just outside the paint. Slaps that straight over the top of Guilfoyle, and Widnes claim another one. Take this game 2-0.
Three minutes, 30 seconds left in the first period. Widnes go up 2, but if this tournament, if these playoffs have taught us anything, Ben, it's to not count out the comeback.
Of course, everyone loves a good comeback, Dave. Like they like a good Rocky montage. But the Sting yesterday obviously taking the Telford Tigers to that last minute of that third period, that 5-4 score. But I think, it's a little bit of an uphill climb.
So, Sting, Johnson on the line, gives it to Morris, who takes a shot. That's stopped by Croyle. 2 minutes and 50 seconds remain in the first period. And if you're Sutton Sting, the goal is surely to make it out of this first period and then make some adjustments.
Certainly, Scott Morris is going to get his guys back in that locker room there at the end of this period. And he's probably going to read them the riot act, because the last thing he wants them to do now is sit back and absorb pressure, even if you are just trying to run the clock out at the end of this period. Because if you are inviting pressure on, Widnes will throw you that by the bucket load all day.
And Sutton Sting certainly in these few seconds trying to keep up that pressure, not give the Wild any further momentum going into the period break. But they're forced back into their own zone. Goodman. Now the Sting. Again, Butterworth. Brought just offside.
Well, my only concern, Dave, to be honest, is going into this second period now, will the Widnes Wild do exactly what they did yesterday and try and take the foot off the gas a little bit, being those 2 goals up, and invite the pressure on from Sutton? Because we know if the tables are turned, Sutton will take every opportunity handed to them. It's
as we said yesterday, Ben, a lot of members of that Sutton Sting roster come in from their under-18 setup. They know each other so well. They're a well-oiled machine, and they've got youth on their side. And at any point you choose to take the foot off the gas a little bit, Sutton Sting will make you pay for it. We'll take a look at the head-to-head over the last season. It may favour the Widnes Wild, but who won that final game between the two of them? Sutton Sting know when to make an adjustment.
Yeah, very much so. And you look at it today, you can go on past records all you want, Dave, but when it comes down to playoff hockey, it writes itself. And at the moment, the guys mentioned it in the intro again, you don't play the moment, you play the game. If you let the moment get into your head, you've already lost half the battle, because you're putting more pressure on yourself than you need to.
And do you think some of that is what Sutton Sting are playing through at the moment?
I certainly think so. They've already claimed the Laidler as the league. They're going to want to take the playoffs, so maybe they're putting the pressure on themselves that they don't need to at the moment. Just clear your head, see what's in front of you. Right now it's Wild. You've taken a 2-goal period against you. Come out second period, and the first thing you're going to want to do within those first 5 minutes is bag yourself a point back.
Williamson dumps it into the Wild zone. We are down to the final minute of the first period now. Dump on net from Andrew Turner. This period of hockey almost done. We'll rejoin Gary, Aaron and Steve up in the studio for analysis very shortly.
Sting, though, making one last effort deep in the Widnes third. There's going to be a penalty.
That's a call against the Widnes Wild. Another interference call. So many interference calls this game as Widnes Wild go to the box.
That's going to
Bullock.
be, yeah, Bullock going to take a seat there for the next 32 seconds. Is it even worth sitting down, Dave?
32 seconds in the first period, and it's going to mean that Sutton Sting come out for the second with a power play opportunity.
Well, from Scott Morris, I'm going to certainly want to capitalise on that as quickly as possible, having that man advantage.
Last check, sends it to the point. Goodman, cross ice. Tried to get that to number 24, David Pyatt, who was in front of the net. Some traffic there. Goodman. Last check. And the Wild.
At the death of the period.
Brittle just taken to the ice to put his body in front of those shots. Sacrificing it. A feisty first period, favouring the Widnes Wild. Let's send you back to the studio. Gary, over to you.
All right, thanks for that, guys. It's been an interesting first period. Must say, the tempo exceedingly fast right from the off.
Yeah, the first couple of shifts, Sutton came at Widnes, and it was Steve actually that pointed out the goalie looked very shaky at that point. The way Sutton came out was fast-paced. I think they knew that it was a final. I think Widnes was still feeling a little bit laxy-daisy from yesterday. So, like, first couple of shifts always going to determine the game. But, you know, Widnes did come back at it. But the fast pace that it started with Sutton and the way the goalie started shaky, I thought there was going to be a couple of early goals.
Of course, Laschek spends a lot of time on the ice already. Is he that much of a key player for them?
Well, what we've seen is a lot of the players gone through him on this side. He's dropped down into the D on the point for the power plays. He's very creative out there, so it looks like he's making something happen. We did notice like some of the Sutton players maybe getting a little frustrated at the end there, but you know, early doors. What we did see is like everyone playing a safe game. There was a lot of just getting it off the boards, clearing the zone, couple of icings. What we also saw as well is like some of the juniors Sutton had a breakaway, fanned on it, missed the net. One of the younger guys as well in the first shift got a bit of a big hit, got injured. You know, some of them are a bit of nerves, a bit shaky, but then what you started to see, guys started to relax into the game, into the systems, and the pace started to pick up.
So of course that first goal that Widnes got, we noticed that straight after that, Sutton were protecting their goal, their netminder, putting a big guy in front, trying to block out as much, but I felt that they were leaving their back door open a lot there. They are susceptible to a lot of shots, and especially being a man down, discipline again, has been a key factor which is hurting Sutton.
Yeah, going back to the power play and the penalty kill there for Widnes, all they did was play it simple. They got the biggest guy, Turner, at the time, in front of the goalie, screening the view and making a nuisance of himself. And all they had to do was get the puck straight onto the net, and it come away with a goal. You're going on about the discipline there as well. Sutton seemed, I think it was TJ took a bit of a silly call. I know Barron had a word with him in the box, and I don't think he's been on the ice since. But it's a playoff game, and you've got to go into it, everybody on the same wavelength. And if you're taking the silly penalties, which I think Morris took a silly penalty as well.
Yeah, surprisingly, Morris, we were saying before the game started, how much of a key player he would be to stay on the ice, and he's the first one in the box.
Yeah, you expect him to lead straight from the off. Both captains and both assistants for the captain and both assistants from Widnes have led. You know, you can see them on the ice. They're dictating where they want it and how they want to play. Like Steve said, they've just been playing it. Widnes just played a simple game. There wasn't anything other than, you know, taking it to them on the power play. Yeah, there was a few stupid calls. I think there was one at the end there which you didn't really need to take with 30 seconds to go on the clock. Because, you know, it's 30 seconds. You want to see out the period at 2-0.
So, of course, the big thing is Ben rightly pointed out there, Widnes are renowned for getting that early goal, but having a dreadful second period like they did yesterday where the Jets scored 5 on them. Are Sutton going to be looking to get in the game, and do you think Widnes will be sitting back on their back foot a little bit?
Well, it's only the first period, isn't it? So you can't get complacent. You know, the one thing that you do know is, like, anything can happen in hockey. 2 goals can happen in a matter of like 1 minute. Do you know what I mean? So I think from Sutton's perspective, they'll be going into that changing room. They'll be saying, look guys, we've got 2 periods left yet. Let's not throw in the towel just yet. But at the same time, equally, Widnes have to be going into that changing room saying, let's not switch off, guys. It's far from done.
Well, we've got another 2 periods of exciting ice hockey here at this Laidler Conference 2018 playoff final. One of these teams is going to get their hands on this trophy at the end of the day. Who it is, we don't know yet. But before that, we're going to have a quick word from our friends at Elite Hockey UK, and you can see about some amazing prizes you could win. Competition time on Drop the Puck, and one lucky winner picked at random will win some great prizes courtesy of our friends over at Elite Hockey UK. A t-shirt, a training top, and we'll even throw in a wristband. All you have to do to win these great prizes is go onto YouTube, look for BASN Radio, click on the subscribe button. It's as simple as that. Winner will be announced on the 1st of August, so good luck. So there you go, some great prizes. So don't forget, we'll announce how you can win those a bit later on. In the meantime, guys, we're going to go into second period. How do you think things are going to pan out?
Well, the way that that period finished, the way Sutton was standing back, Widnes were attacking them and going over the blue line, and Sutton, instead of standing them up, they were backing up, and that's how they scored their second goal. So I can see if Widnes can take it to them straight from the word off, and not like start like they did that period. I can see Widnes getting a couple more this period. Me personally, I can see Widnes, you know, if they can get the game going in their pace, the way they finished, I can see Sutton making a few mistakes and then Widnes capitalising on it.
Do you think that Sutton have got enough in the bag to try and pull something back?
Yeah, I do. I think what they've got to do is take some shots from good angles, because some of them shots there will come from really tight angles, you know. So get some low shots going in, and then you've got to go to the net. You've got to crash the net. Something we've not really seen, you know. So they've got to be doing that. I think in terms of Widnes, keep going, keep doing what they're doing, make sure they're disciplined. Both teams have to stay out of the box, and you know, it'll be an interesting second period.
Well, if the tempo's anything like it's been in that first period, we're in for a great second period. But hopefully Sutton can start pounding that net a bit more. We'll get some more goals, or Widnes could carry on doing what they've been doing so far. With that, we'll hand over to our commentary team of Dave Griffiths and Ben Lee.
Cheers for that, Gary.
We are back. Start of the second period.
Obviously, Sutton Sting on that power play with that penalty being served to Bullock at the end of the first.
Yeah, Bullock is going to be in the box for another minute and 10 seconds. So Sutton got a chance to come out of the starting blocks early. An important minute of play for them here.
Yeah, Morris will have, like you said, at the end of the first period there, he'll have read the riot act to them in the locker room there. Want to certainly get them going. They've got the man advantage currently at the moment. No, they're going to need to take the opportunity to get back in this game, Dave. 2 up at the end of the first, not a place you want to be in.
Goodman with the puck in the Wild zone. Puck loose, Laschek picks it up, gives it to Goodman. Back to Laschek. Under pressure from Brittle. Goodman struggled with that one. Gives it to Morris. Morris takes the shot. Just trickled through. Not much on that. Still got about 17 seconds to make a play, but the Wild managed to clear. Ollie Barron sends that right down the ice.
Good penalty kill so far from the Wild, chewing that clock up.
They got a chance to make one last play before that penalty expires. Shot was just deflected by the blocker. And the penalty's up. Bullock is back on the ice. Wild return to full strength.
Textbook penalty kill there from Widnes.
Stopped there by Gilbert. Fanned on the pass. And Sutton play that out. Laschek takes the shot.
Ooh, off the shoulder of Croyle. And it's crept in.
It's a goal for the Sutton Sting. It wasn't pretty, but they got the job done here at the start of the second period.
Well, it's the exact start that I said, Dave. They needed to come out and get that quick goal, draw one back, because, you know, they need to give themselves a foothold in the game, and they certainly have done there.
So the Sutton Sting are back in this game, 2-1. Trailing the Wild. They're giving that goal to Stanislav Laschek. Bracegirdle dumps that in. Sting turn that round. A noticeable change in pace for the Sting now.
Yeah, Sting finding another gear there.
They've broken that drought. It's what was needed. And again, they go on net. Couldn't make a play though. Butterworth goes back for it.
Mauer's lost his brain bucket there. That's on the ice. Certainly going to want to be reunited with that at some point.
Oh, absolutely. And in comes Doxey. Bit of shove in there in front of the net. You know, the huge body there of Lee Kemp just blocking the net and being an imposing presence.
Yeah, George spoke about, obviously, the Widnes defenders yesterday, Dave. They are literally man mountains. You look at the likes of Kemp and Turner and Mauer, and they are very intimidating figures. They do the job brilliantly back there for Widnes. And he's going to obviously try and keep the vision of Croyle free all day. Anyone that's trying to jam up there, get that screen going, he's just going to be trying to put them out the way.
3 minutes gone in the second period. Face-off won by the Wild. Chips that high, tried to get that to Barron. Barron and Pyatt raced down for the puck there. Brittle almost reached it. Instead, Saunders turned it round for the Sting. Brittle dumps it in. Manning chases. Beats Sutton to the puck, but Barron couldn't make much of that when he brought it out front. They're going to try again. Manning pinned on the boards though by Williamson. Barron.
Brittle trying to set the screen up there, you could see it, and it's quite noticeable at the moment, Dave. It's the first line of Widnes out versus the second line of Sutton.
Sutton make a play. Doxey brings it right down in front of the net. Shot! Puck was loose.
Net's off its moorings.
Charlie Saunders just came racing down to pick up that deflection. Knocked the net off the moorings for another fantastic attempt by Sutton.
And it looks like we've got a Widnes player going to the box for that. And it looks like it's Brittle, or is it Valles? It's hard to tell from our commentary position at the moment.
So that is Valles, Pavel Valles.
Yeah, Valles is going to sit 2 minutes there, and that's a guy that Widnes don't need off the ice at the moment. He's doing really well to contain the pressure of Sutton, but with him off now, it's going to be a tough ask for Widnes.
He's only a small guy, is Valles, but he makes up for that on the ice.
Certainly does. Likes to impose himself early on his opponents. He's not afraid to get physical, and he's got some pace in him as well.
It's another good situation here for the Sutton Sting. They've now got another 2 minutes in this period to try and even up that score. As they win the face-off, fanned on that shot, but Goodman was there to pick that up. Keeps that on net. Goodman again holds that in, gives it to Laschek. Back to Goodman. Goodman takes the shot. Puck loose out front. Goodman again through traffic, just chipping away, just keeping the pressure on Mac Troyle. Goodman brings it in, Laschek picks it up, takes another big shot, and that's up and high and out.
So confirmation on a penalty there, Dave. Valles is actually sitting for delay of the game.
So Valles taking a penalty for intentionally knocking the net off its moorings, presumably.
It would appear so.
A minute and a half remain in this power play. Let's see whether that risk was worthwhile for Widnes as they're 5-on-4 for another 90 seconds or so. Widnes clear. Down the ice to Guilfoyle. He tames that, waits for Johnson. Nearly 5 minutes gone in this second now.
You can see Widnes again trying to force Sutton to the edge of the ring.
Colton sends it around the boards. There wasn't anyone there to keep that in though. And so Sutton Sting forced to set up another play. 50 seconds remain in their power play. Last check. Skates it in, takes the shot, it's a goal! Laschek evens it up for the Sutton Sting!
Well, Croyle tried to get down quickly there, but wasn't quick enough. Laschek finds that gap, posts the puck. And Sutton bring this game back to even Stevens. Well, it's questionable. Dave, would you say that that first one past Croyle has upset his equilibrium?
Well, the Sutton Sting are in a position now where they are able to get into the head of the Widnes Wild. They've come out firing on all cylinders. And it's something we saw from Widnes in that semi-final game yesterday, that they took the foot off the gas, as he said, in that second period, came back in the third. It has been a playoffs dedicated to the comeback, the gods of the comeback. And we will see if that continues.
Yes, I'm just hoping no small children, virgins or animals were sacrificed for that, Dave. But no, you're all right. We spoke to Ollie Barron in his interview last night. Ollie again didn't want to divulge too much of his game plan today, but openly admitted that the second period for Widnes historically has not been their strongest so far. Again, proving true to form and record. We're seeing it now. Sutton bring this game back within 2. We know they can do it. We saw them do it with Telford yesterday. Widnes really need to watch themselves now as we got things like this.
Martin had a big opportunity there. Turner just managed to keep him off that puck.
Turner forced to lay out there and poke check that puck away last minute.
Face-off is going to be from the Widnes Wild end, but Sutton Sting almost with a breakaway there.
And we know they've got the pace. We've mentioned about the youth before, Dave. Right now, I think there's only a handful of the skaters on the actual Widnes bench that are going to be able to keep up with the majority of these Sting guys.
And somebody like Dominic Martin played 22 games, got 40 points from those 22 games. You do not want him to get on the breakaway.
Especially if they have, as we predict, already rattled the balance of Croyle.
So, Johnson, centre ice, gives it to Goodman. Morris is going to play it in. Morris and Laschek getting in front of that net. In the corner, Sutton look to play that out. It's down the ice into their zone. Race for it though, Bullock. Almost got a piece. Last check. Brings it in, and that's going to be offside.
And just before that offside call, Dave, I was about to ask, again, would you say that the tempo of this game has stepped up?
Yes. I think there's been a noticeable change in tempo after that equalising goal. Both teams realising now that it's anybody's, and a need for them to show some contribution.
Certainly, and I'd agree with you 100% there. Right now, determining the two teams, Sutton are loving the quick hockey, the quick tape-to-tape passing, trying to exploit the lanes, whereas Widnes at the moment trying to play more methodical hockey, trying to drive the puck into the byline, look for that quick low slot pass. But right now, if this game keeps up the way it is and this pace, it's playing right into Sutton's hands.
Nice dig by Brittle, brings it in. Saunders makes the sacrifice to save that puck. Wild trying to dump that on net, but they get another opportunity. Valles takes the shot, and it's a goal for the Widnes Wild!
What a goal, Dave! Well, it started with your main man, Pavel Valles, here at the point. Puts that puck in. You've got Ollie Barron posted out front, that screen position, looking for the deflection. It knocks down on the back door, looking for the rebound is Brittle. Puts it away past Guilfoyle there, and Widnes take this one again.
And Manning going to be credited with that goal. Valles got that on net, the deflection came out. I think Manning and Ollie Barron both got a taste of that. Have to see on the replay. Shot from Colton, straight into the glove of Croyle, and again the tempo picked up, and Widnes Wild desperate to eliminate any of that second period ennui that they are familiar with.
Certainly, you know, you can see them shifting up the gears slowly but surely. We're getting there. They're not quite at top gear yet. Sutton obviously trying to hit their stride very quickly and upset the balance that the Wild have got going at the moment. Wild trying to do everything they can to keep it.
8 minutes almost gone in this second period, and a feisty one it's been. Puck sent down the ice. It's going to be an icing call, and again this is going to slow the tempo somewhat, but importantly for Sutton Sting, it's going to mean that Widnes Wild are without a change of their bench.
Yeah, you know, shifts these days last usually anywhere between 40 seconds and a minute. You know, your guys out there for any longer than that, you're going to start getting tired legs. You're going to dip into the reserve tank. You don't really want that, as Colton trying to find gap there out front.
Had the stick knocked away. And another attempt there from Simon Butterworth.
Oh, we've got action going. Looks like brace girdle there.
That's right. Not sure who that is with Sutton. That's Dominic Martin. And the referee's quick to step in and put a stop to that. But we've got a misconduct assessed to Martin.
Well, I can tell you now, Scott Morris will not be happy with that call. I don't know how many times we have to mention it, Dave, but he's already spoken to his players. You know, we knew what the officials were going to be like today. We knew they weren't going to stand for any back chat. And that result right there is what you're going to get when it happens.
Brittle and Morris line up. Change, Barron's going to take that. Won by the Wild, but they lose that puck. Forced back for it. So a power play opportunity for the Wild now. Can they keep up their recent momentum? Morris eats some time, dumps it into the Wild zone, gives his team time for a quick line change.
So the call against Martin there was roughing, saving the 2-minute penalty.
Manning gives it to Brittle, who takes the shot. That's going to be held by Guilfoyle. Both teams trying to get up in front of the netminders now.
And
just try and rattle them a bit. They've both been very solid in net so far this tournament.
just going back to that penalty saved on Martin there, Dave, I don't think he did get the misconduct call. We'll obviously get 100% clarification on that soon, but he was very close. You know, the officials having a word with him there.
Puck goes around the boards, back out, and Widnes forced into their zone with it. They've got 1 minute and 10 seconds left in their power play opportunity. Barron keeps it on the boards, sends it to Valles, who's been pivotal in some of these goals tonight. Valles brings it round the net, looking for a man out front, gives it to Barron, takes a shot. Valles was looking for the rebound, couldn't reach. And the Sting have got a 2-on-1 the other way. Butterworth
Offered there.
And Doxey.
Offered with a key poke check just to take that puck away last minute.
Short-handed 2-on-1 attempt by the Sutton Sting, and now they have possession in the Wild zone. And that's going to kill off another chunk of this power play. 20 seconds left. The Wild puck to Manning and Brittle, but no Goodman. Back the other way. He's got some space. Takes a shot into the chest of Croyle. 10 seconds left in that power play. Face off in the Widnes Wild end. And it looks like Sutton Sting may have killed this one off.
Well, Dave, the first thing you learn on power play is, you know, you need to take the opportunity and drive the puck into their zone. If you're on a penalty kill, it's just get the puck out the zone. Sutton doing that by driving it straight back down the other end of the ice.
Wild send it off and around the boards. Still got a few seconds to make the play, which they are. Big attempt there by Gilbert. Puck still loose out front, another shot. Penalty is expired, it's 5-on-5. Widnes dumped that in one last time. But the Sting maintain their cool. Martin with a bounce, almost had the puck in front of the net. And we are halfway through this game.
And what a game we've got, Dave.
Dipnell just had the puck poked away from him there at the last second. Dipnell, a massive part of the Widnes Wild semi-final victory. Man of the match.
Certainly played a pivotal role during the regulation play with that quick goal off the face-off. And then we saw what was an absolute barnstormer of a shot for his first penalty shot. And then going for his third, that key backhand goal to take Widnes through to the final today.
Puck back to the point. Glasby takes a shot, held by Croyle. And Croyle found his form again after a shaky start to the period.
Certainly, and you know, to much of the joy of the Widnes fans here, the Planet Ice Widnes today, they're going to appreciate every time he gets behind that rubber.
Sutton Sting have yet to have the lead in this game, but they are chasing, and they are chasing hard. 9 minutes, 24 seconds left in the second period. Sting dumped that behind the net. Keeping it along the board, starting to get a bit physical there. Brought down Ratcliffe. Shot. That one was high. Into the corner. And the puck behind the Wild's net now. Trying to find a man out front. Colton couldn't reach it. Held in by Glasby. Goodman.
That's going to be a hand pass call there.
Goodman didn't look sure. Didn't look too sure about what that call was. That's going to bring the face off just outside of the Sutton Sting zone.
Would you say it's a fair assessment, Dave, to say that every time Widnes are on the puck currently at the moment, it's almost like they're trying to crash the net? Yet when Sutton are on the moving forward on the offensive, it's almost as if they're forced to take the shots from outside.
We talked about that on the commentary yesterday, about how crashing the net when you've got a rink of the kind of shape that Widnes have is where things work for them. Widnes obviously have a game plan for that. This is their home rink. They know this building inside and out. Sutton Sting having trouble playing that puck in and taking it to the net. A lot of dump and chase, and so far it's not paid off as often as Sutton would have liked. Face-off ends up in the Widnes zone. Brought out to the neutral zone in front of the Sting bench there. But dumped back in. Croyle goes back for that. He's going to give that up to Offord. And now Morris. Under pressure from Brittle. And Manning tried to take the puck away from him there. He's forced to give it to Johnson. Sting well contained there. Chose to dump the puck down. Icing was waved off. That pass was a little long, couldn't reach Barron. Sting recover the puck. And now Wild send it back the other way. Lots of back and forth in the neutral zone. Trying to establish a pace. 7 minutes left in the second period. Manning, Deeks, passed it to Barron, who took a shot. Just fanned on that. Brittle has it again, batted away.
Guilfoyle there with a cracking glove save.
Puck loose out front. Barron just finds it. Lines up, takes the shot, couldn't get it, and puck's loose again.
Guilfoyle's teddy bearing.
Barron. Nice sequence there for the Wild.
And Sutton can take a breath after that. You know, 3 guys bearing down on you on net that you don't want are Manning, Barron and Brittle.
And it's, as you say, Ben, crashing the net, putting that pressure on, keeping their eyes out for the rebounds, making sure that any gaps in that net are filled. Valles. Man out front, but it's taken by the Sting. Brought down into the Wild zone. They play it out. And we've got a too many men call. And that was controversial. The puck was knocked back by the Wild towards the doorway of the home bench. I think that was accidental contact, really.
You can see them chatting with the officials there. If the call stands, it does mean somebody from the Sting will have to go and sit this. Unless the officials can talk it out and Widnes are happy with the result, which it looks like they are.
It would appear that's been waved off, and rightly so in my book. It's an unfortunate consequence of a line change and having that door sit right on the blue line.
Of course, for many of our viewers that are watching Drop the Puck for the first time or these playoff specials, we do cover other rinks such as D-side, Blackburn, and each rink is very individual, Dave. It's almost like a thumbprint. You know, everyone talks about the famous hump in the Blackburn ice, you know, and it's a narrow rink here at Widnes, and each team knows how to play each rink.
That's right. We were talking to a few people who've played on this rink, and they praised the ice quality. But there is no set size for a rink. There are minimum requirements, and as such, they do come in some shapes. So the Wild play that through the neutral zone. Sting picked that up. That's Goodman. With 5 minutes left in this second period. Tried to put that out in front of the net. There's nobody in the crease. Held in by the Sting.
So the tempo just slowing down a little bit again now, and Widnes sitting back, inviting some of that pressure from the Sting.
And we're going to have a tripping call there. Valles brought down. And there's going to be some discussion with the officials.
And it looks like it's Lajcek going to the box there. That's much to the delight of the Widnes fans here at the rink tonight. And he's gone for simulation.
So, an embellished trip there from Lajcek. And that's something the Sting don't need at this point. 5 minutes left in this second.
So right now, Widnes trying to go against the record books and prove that the second period can be made to work in their favour.
Here come the Wild. Brittle. Gives it to Manning. Brittle takes the shot. Puck loose. Payat tamed that. Prevented that rebound. Sent it back behind his net. Barron. We've got a minute 15 left in this power play opportunity. Lajcek was trying to draw that tripping call. Instead, his team's down a man, 5-on-4.
Well, we already know the Widnes do not need that man advantage, Dave, to take the opportunities and score.
Brittle's going to play that in. Sent it down the wing. Brought it to the blue line, but there was nobody there to pick that up. So it goes to Valles. Valles waits for his team to get back on side. There was a line change that slowed that down. Dipnell couldn't reach that. Wild tried to bring that in again, but Sting send it back the other way. And a shot there from Ryan Johnson just to ate up a little bit of the clock. Took his time taking that shot.
Very much so, but you can see the Wild are still piling that pressure on late into this second period, looking for another goal to really seal the deal on the game.
Three minutes and 20 seconds left in this period. 20 seconds remain in the power play. The Wild.
Big hit there. Goodman on Gilbert.
Huge hit. As the penalty expires to Lajcek. He's back on the ice and straight back into the play. And another big collision on the boards. Game's starting to get physical now as it winds down.
Lajcek and Bullock there in that last one.
Sting offside.
And this a reoccurring issue for Sutton at the moment. Every time they get a bit of momentum going, they're just getting caught offside. Those forwards need to start communicating a little better. Bit of better awareness on the rink where, you know, the teammates are. Because right now, it's the little silly calls like this that are disrupting the flow of the building.
2 minutes and 44 seconds remain in this period. Sutton won that face-off. Choose to dump it in. Payat. He gave that to Martin, who brings it in, down the line, takes the shot.
Croyle lost after a second there.
And the Wild managed to clear. Manning has it. Butterworth, looking down at Butterworth. Brittle gives it to Bannon, takes a shot.
Brittle, a little nudge there, and Lajcek was enough for him to lose his edge and go over.
Barron takes another shot. Valles. Back to Ollie Barron. Brittle. Couldn't contain that. Butterworth. Again eating up the clock. Minute and a half left in the period. And of course, it's all going to be about how both of these teams respond early in that third period after a quick break. How they come out and what they make will decide this playoff.
Most certainly, you know, Sutton are going to want to come out firing on all cylinders. And to be honest, Dave, I really don't think they have any other choice.
Goodman took it off the boards. Minute remain in the second period. Barron couldn't clear that puck. It's turned around by Doxey, but now the Wild have it. They get it out. Goodman collides with Brittle at centre ice. Goodman's played some physical hockey in this second. Gilbert. Brittle tames the puck. Couldn't get a shot. Sutton. One last attempt. Shot that goes high.
It's off the goal line.
No goal.
No, it's off the goal line. They cleared by the Widnes defenders, but in the process they've managed to move the net. The officials are calling the net off its moorings. And with 17.6 seconds remaining in this second period, the Black Cats of Widnes Wild used one of their 9 lives.
That was so close to call. Of course, at this NIHL level, there's no video replay. What the referee sees is what goes. The Wild behind their net. 14 seconds left on the clock. Goodman trying to get it to Butterworth, he couldn't. 2-on-1 the other way. Picked away by Sutton.
Too much traffic there.
Last check took a shot from the blue line to end the period. And a big one it was. Sutton Sting back in this, but the Widnes Wild continue to dominate. Let's take you back to the studio. Gary, Aaron, Steve, over to you.
So a great second period there. I mean, what can you say? The very thing that we talked about going into that period, saying about Widnes falling back in that dreadful second period curse that they have, if you like, and straight away Sutton comes straight back in.
Well, it looked like the Widnes actually came out strong. They came out, the forecheck for the first couple of shifts were unreal. Like, they took it to Sutton, they didn't give them the chance to break out, and I honestly thought straight from the word go, Widnes were going to get a couple there. But it just changed. Everything just changed from there, you know. The whole tempo after those couple of shifts just went though, and it just seemed that they went to sleep.
Well, it was that player that we mentioned, Steve, Laschek, got that first goal, that important goal for Sutton. And then Widnes seemed to be rocked a little bit. It looked like Coyle had a bit of a problem.
Yeah, well, the shot came in from a tight angle, his first goal, and the keeper was probably thinking about that, wanting it back, and then very quickly, within 5 minutes, they scored the second goal, bringing them right back into the game. Now, Widnes did score an important goal to pull it back, so they're just in that, but, you know, 3-2, but that period, they're actually 2-1 in that period, isn't it?
Yeah, they lost that period, but of course, that second goal for Laschek was a power play goal as well, and again, you kind of see to yourself, discipline. You can't afford to lose it, especially going down, losing a goal in that period so quickly.
Yeah. Well, he looks like he's full of confidence. When he's got the puck, it looks like something's going to happen. Do you know what? It did look like the Sutton lads came out very quick out the traps. And again, with the Widnes guys, it just looked they were a little bit slow. But like I was saying, they've scored an important goal to keep themselves just into it.
I've got to admit, I mean, we would...
Sorry, I've just seen food. I'm like, yeah.
I was going to say, last check later on, though, he went in the box with a penalty, which was a bit of a shock for a simulation of a dive. You know, it would be great for the Premier League football, but not for ice hockey.
We called it, didn't we? We absolutely called it. We said, that looks a bit dramatic, right in front of the referee. We thought he had got the call, but then the referee called him for the dive. And do you know what? Just after he got out of the box, he took a big hit, and his body language had changed, and it looked like he didn't want to play, and he got off the ice, and we sort of can't afford to have that. You know, he's scored 2 goals. They need him in the game.
Yeah, you picked that. You were saying that to me as well. His body language is completely
different. For a player of his calibre, well, before the hit, he had a bad shift. I think a pass he didn't get, and he just didn't look interested. As soon as the whistle went, his whole body posture, he just got himself off the ice. He didn't even acknowledge any of his teammates for that shift. You know, he got straight off the ice and he just didn't look right. And then when he took the hit, I think it was Brittle down in front of us, he took that, very good hit. It was a clean hit. And then he just, I don't know, there was no urgency with him. There was nothing. He just took his time getting into trying to get back into the game, and he just skated off as if he was just coming off at the end of the period. And that was during the game.
Well, after that after the third goal for Widnes by Manning, Widnes seemed to look a better team. Their tape passing was good. They were putting some good shifts in. They seemed to be getting back into the game a lot more. Sutton seemed to be falling onto their back foot.
Yeah, it looked like by the end they were getting the puck in the corner. They were cycling the puck. It looked like they had a system. They looked like, okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is how we can do it. They got the puck in low, and then they looked for the guy in the middle. It nearly paid off a few times. It paid off for Manning. He was backdoor, no one on him. And all they did was get the puck in. They cycled, they set it up. They didn't panic, they didn't rush. They just made sure that, there was a guy open, and they got it across to Manning, and he scored a cracking goal. No one was on him. Just before that, was it Brittle, I think, almost had it as well, the opposite side. So it looked like now Widnes are in the game. They look settled, they look comfortable in a way where they're controlling their game.
That first line for Widnes is so important to them. Every time that first line's on, they work well as a unit. They work really well as a unit, and they're very creative, and you can see something can come from it. So to keep them on the ice is absolutely valuable. What we did notice as well is second period, some tired legs out there, and because you've got to skate that little bit extra to get a change, it creates spaces on the far side. So we did see that teams get trapped in the zone, and some of the D-men looking a bit tired out there, unable to get a change until the puck's cleared.
So a bit of fatigue setting in because of the pace of the game, you think?
Yeah, well, you've got, Widnes have got a few players there not being used. In a game like this, you can afford at this sort of time now to rest the likes of Barron, he's going to have tired legs. Those sort of lads have been on the ice. Is it Valles? Yeah, he's been on constantly on the D. There's players there where I think now they need to try and get into the game just to allow for the last 10 minutes for these guys, because the last 10 minutes of this period is going to be, important, and I hope, that they do rest a couple of their lads. Miss one shift, couple 30 seconds. Believe it or not, that 30 seconds could mean an extra shift, in that last 10 minutes. So I think he might start looking to the bench this period and start looking at hopefully trying to bring in the lads that are not being used. Just one shift, and it just allows them then to have a little bit of a breather.
Well, it's time for us to have a quick breather, and we're going to mention a little bit about our friends from Elite Hockey UK and some great prizes you could win. Competition time on Drop the Puck, and one lucky winner picked at random will win some great prizes courtesy of our friends over at Elite Hockey UK. A t-shirt, a training top, and we'll even throw in a wristband. All you have to do to win these great prizes is go onto YouTube, look for BASN Radio, click on the subscribe button. It's as simple as that. Winner will be announced on the 1st of August, so good luck. And there you go, some great prizes from Elite Hockey UK, and we'll give you some information on later in the programme on how to win some of those things. Guys, going into this final third period, all to play for. Somebody wants to get their hands on this. I know it's close at the moment. How do you think it's going to pan out now?
It's all going to count in the last, like the first 10 minutes are going to be, both teams are going to come out, firing, but the last 10 minutes is where it's going to count. You can bring a game back at that point. That's where your tired legs are going to, the adrenaline is going to start kicking in with the last 10 minutes. And if I'm honest, and the way it's starting and the way it's going, I think it's going to be the black and yellow on that trophy, me personally. So,
Steve?
I think next period, if we look at the first period, Widnes won that. Last period, Sutton come into it, so it's all to play for the last period. If I was Sutton, I'd start to have a high guy, a trailing guy to pick something up, maybe get a breakaway. I think Widnes will probably look at keeping their first line on as much as possible, the strongest line. However, I think that might be costly because if they're out doing that, their energy levels are going to be dwindling down. Sutton might be playing three lines, getting them fresh legs on. So, do you know what? It could go either way. The next goal's a massive goal. Massive.
Right, okay. Well, I think the fans might have a lot to say in this because a great third period, I reckon, is going to come up. It's going to be fast-paced, I think. Both teams are going to be going for it. It's too close to call, but I think the fans could be that extra man that Widnes need, and I think you're right. I think it could be black and yellow on that. But remember, it is 1 versus 2. Sutton were the conference champions. They could have a lot to say in this. It's hard to call, guys, but Dave, Ben, it's up to you to do the rest. We're going to hand over to you now.
Well, Gary, you asked us to call it, but I don't even know whether we've got enough time to run that computation, Ben.
I don't, Dave, and to be honest, there's only one result out of this game I'm looking forward to. Maybe not what the fans want, maybe not what our camera crew wants, and certainly I know not what the goaltenders are going to want, but I would absolutely love this to go to a shootout.
We saw it in the semi-final between the Widnes Wild and their opponents. Who was it that they took on again?
So it was the Hull Jets, and obviously
Hull Jets.
It was Matt Croyle versus Dean Bowater in between the pipes. We saw an absolutely superb set of players come out and try and put that puck past, and it was Widnes who prevailed. But right now, each team needs to come out with those skaters in force that we saw for both teams in those semi-finals, those power forwards, and certainly make the puck count, because right now Sutton are chasing this with the 1-goal game.
These early minutes of this third period pivotal in deciding the tempo of this game. We saw Sutton come out firing on all cylinders in that second period. 2 early goals. We saw Widnes then try to take back that lead, and now we're in a position where both teams desperate to establish their dominance.
Turner, it's in! He's got it!
Just as he says
Bollock with the rebound!
The Widnes Wild have put them comfortably in the lead by 2 goals.
Well, Turner high at the slot there, give them plenty of time to pick his opportunity. Puts one high on Guilfoyle, who's forced to knock it down with the glove. And back door there was Turner, looking for the rebound. Widnes have crashed the net all night, so Sutton knew what to expect. And it's Widnes who come out firing first in this period and take the goal.
The local kid does good here at Widnes tonight. As the Sutton Sting are left reeling from that, and I think at this point, Ben, with 18.5 minutes left, it's important to remember this isn't the time to drop your head.
Certainly no. Aaron mentioned it at the start of the show. We've mentioned it all throughout the season on Drop the Puck. Each game, you've got to take each period as it comes. You had a great second period. You brought the 2 goals back. Right now, your adrenaline, your motivation should be riding high. And, you know what I mean? Instead, it's not. When Widnes are playing like that and throwing the body on the line, you know they want it more. Which team's hungry, Dave? That's going to be the result.
Absolutely. And, of course, this is the last hockey they'll be playing for a while. The season's over. This is the final game. They're either going home with a trophy or going home with a lot of bruises.
Well, all those bruises, you're going to need to count for something.
You see Tom Ratcliffe struggling to the bench there. He's just taking a puck pretty hard, put the body on the line, and that's the kind of play that's going to win you this playoff.
Yeah, you know, Ollie Byron will have told his boys, do what you have to do to, you know, within limitations to make sure we come out with the silverware. You got to put your body on the line and block the biscuit. That's what you got to do.
Here comes the Wild. Manning looking for Brittle. Gets him. Brittle takes it behind the net. Manning sends it back the other way. And the Sting trying to clear. Can't. Barron turns that back round. Manning to Barron. Barron shoots. That goes high.
Given a lot of time there to pull the trigger, Ollie Byron.
Stanislav Laschek just managed to get his stick in the way of that shot.
And you can see, Dave, it's right now, Widnes have come bounding out the gate here. They seriously want to try and put this game to bed early on. They're putting all the pressure deep in the Sutton zone. I don't think Sutton were ready for the amount of pressure that Widnes are putting right now. And it's going to be key for them to try and claw one goal back to put themselves in with a position to fight back.
Another shot from the face-off. Widnes just crashing that net. Mitchell brings it round for Sutton. Couldn't get to Apsley. That was a interception by Widnes. And Sutton were forced offside. Now Widnes back on the assault. Gilbert in front of that net, looking for the puck. Sent back to Bullock. Bullock tried to play that out front. Cleared by the Sting. Turner sends it down in front of his bench. They couldn't pick that up. Potentially too many men.
Again, though, you know, the flow of play there just took it towards the benches. It couldn't be helped. It looks like the officials aren't going to make the too many men call there. They are grouping together. You can see them currently discussing as both teams go to set for the face-off at the blue line. Out in front of the Sting bench there, far side of the ring. But right now, Widnes carrying out the game plan set to them by Ollie Byron. You know, Ollie Byron and assistant coach Mark Gillingham, they'll have told them, you know, we're good at crashing the net. Put that puck on there. You put the puck on net. It's the old hockey analogy. Good things will happen. And there's always somebody there to pick up a rebound for Widnes as well.
Doxey sends that on net. Kemp for the Wild. But Doxey again tried to bring it around the back of the net. It was poked away. Player brought down there. That was Goodman. Wigglesworth chasing down the puck. And it's sent back into the Wild zone. 15 minutes left in this game. Sting need 2 goals to tie this up.
Well, we know they are a bit of a comeback king, Dave. We've seen them do it before. If they ever needed to do it, it's now.
It's been a theme of the weekend, something that's made these games so very exciting, and something that proves you should be down here at Planet Ice Widnes, at any of the facilities that operates with the NIHL. Come and see these teams play. Check the fixtures for the upcoming season and make sure you're coming down. If you don't know where your local team is, get online. Ask us, BASN Radio on Twitter, Facebook. As Butterworth takes the puck, he's under pressure from Manning. He's brought down. Held onto the stick a little there. Puck loose.
Brittle. Ooh, what a good effort there from Brittle. And again, I don't know how many times we've got to say it, Dave. That partnership of Brittle, Manning and Barron. Look for the wraparound.
Couldn't get it. Ollie Barron takes his time clearing. This play moving so quickly.
Sutton starting to find their feet under them now and put a bit more pressure back on the Widnes net.
Goodman couldn't find his man. It's turned around. And Dipnell's got the puck. The overtime hero during the semi-final. Turner tried to take the shot. He's brought down. Collision there with Morris. Shot from Vaschek.
Really good effort from Laschek there. Tried to drag it out in front of Croyle. put him off, use his own defender as a shield.
And we can see Sutton now starting to get down in front of that net, choosing to play it in, take it as deep as they can, get right in front of the crease.
You said it yesterday with George, if they actually skate it into the zone, good things happen for them. If they allow Widnes to force them outside, it's blue line shots all day.
Turner looks for Wigglesworth, who manages to clear. Pyatt has it in front of his bench. Mitchell's plays that in. And it's cleared by Tom Ratcliffe.
Notably for the Wild today, Wigglesworth getting a lot more ice time today than he did yesterday, and he's making every minute of that count, as every time the puck's pushed forward and he's on the ice, he's making sure he's chasing that down and really playing for his team.
A lot of line changing going on in the last few minutes, just as the Wild took that puck, but Stuart Brittle was offside.
And dare I curse it, Dave, but we're almost 6 minutes into this third and final period, and so far we're yet to see a penalty.
That's right. I think both teams realising the merits of keeping a full contingent on the ice at this stage. Face off to the Sting. Goodman gets it to Jeffcock. And now Doxey, who takes a shot. That's going to be covered. And 3 men stand there, protect their netminder.
Yeah, it's always one for the instigation there. If anything happens to the tendies, it's usually the defenders first in with the gloves off.
Charlie Saunders lines up for the Sting, wins that face-off again. Goodman tried to bring that in, but it was poked away by Brittle. So the Wild make the play. Shot.
Bobbled upside net in there, that was close.
Butterworth plays it all the way down that wing, right the way round the net. It's not got much support there, apart from Colton, who takes the shot. That ends up going high.
Well, he had some net in front of him there, Colton, to get that off. We know he's a good goal scorer, you know, so far this season. If I can remember rightly, he's got a fair few points under his name, Joe Colton. So right now, you know, going into this, he already had 39 goals to his name. So, you know, the guy knows where the net is. And given opportunities, Martin has a crack.
Last check takes a punt at that. Couldn't get it. And last check back on the puck. Takes another shot. That one goes high and out. And last check looked there in that shift to have a slightly quicker pace on him than he did in that second period.
Yeah, most certainly. He didn't look like he was giving it his all in that second. You know, he was trying to play the easy shots and stuff, but when you hear that thud, that's the puck missing the net altogether. And that's how his game's pretty much been going so far.
Last check. Caught looking there, waiting for that puck to be given to him. Morris brings it in. Sends it off the boards. Williamson stops it, takes the shot, hits the leg of Wigglesworth and deflected away from the net. We have just over half of the third period remaining now.
You can see the body language of Sutton now. The realisation is setting in with some of the players, and unfortunately, I don't think, you know, their heads are quite in it as it was at the start of the game. I think the 2-goal deficit's getting to them. I think they realise what they're trying with the outside play isn't working, and Widnes have got the better of them at the moment. But you can't let that happen, especially in, you know, an occasion like this. Right now, you've got half a period of hockey still to play. We know they can come back. We've seen them do it. If they take this game to overtime, not only is it going to be a miracle, but it's going to really be draining on them. So if anything, they're going to need to put this game to bed. 3 goals out, is that a big ask?
Sutton Sting certainly not coming into this third period with the same kind of fire and intensity that they had in the second period or even in the other games in the semi-final. As we've got an icing call, that's going to bring that back down to the Widnes Wild end. I think you can see, Ben, now that the pace that we had during those first 2 periods, it's starting to make some of these players quite sluggish.
Yeah, you know, they are looking a little bit gassed, but you've got to give the guys a due. They've played 2 full days of hockey. You know, this for some of the guys out there is like their 10th shift at the moment. You know, wear and tear is going to show at some point in the fatigue. At the end of the day, a lot of these guys are doing this for the love of the sport. You know, they pay to play, they're not paid to play. So right now, for what we are actually seeing, for what they've given us, you know, it's absolutely great, spectacular viewing. But, you know, if you're a Sutton Sting player right now, you've just got to give that little bit more, make sure you get over the finish line.
We said yesterday about how Sutton Sting had youth on their side. We thought that might be a factor late in the game in keeping those legs from getting tired, but it's not something we're seeing at the moment. Either heads have dropped or fatigue is setting in, but Sutton Sting really need to up this game, and key to that's going to be somebody like Laschek.
Yeah, Laschek right now, a little bit of a key to unlocking that Widnes defence. He seems to be finding all the little pockets of space in there and letting them shots off, keeps letting Croyle, you know, don't fall asleep yet, mate, I'm still here.
Dumped on net from the centre ice line, and that's not the kind of play that's going to win you much in this Widnes rink. Dare I say, Ben, that the Sutton Sting is starting to look desperate.
Yeah, it's, you know, we spoke about it early on, dump and chase hockey, it wasn't going to work. They've known it's not going to work for 2 periods, so why go to it in the third? You've got to ask that.
Well, we've got our first penalty of the period coming up, and that's going to be to Bez Hughes from the Widnes Wild, a charging penalty. Or a boarding penalty, I should say.
Yeah, you know, it's now, if you're a Widnes player, now's the time not to take stupid penalties or get drawn in, because that's exactly what Sting want. They're going to play. You're going to play into their hands. So right now, you know, Scott Morris is going to be telling his guys, you know, it might not be the nicest way to do it, but if you're getting stupid knocks, or, you know, that stick's coming round on you, or, you know, 2 hands on the stick and that's coming down on your gloves, make sure the referees are seeing that, because we need every advantage.
We've already got an embellishment penalty that was assessed during the second period to the Sutton Sting, as 2 Wild players brought down there. And it is crunch time now for the Sting. They can get 1 goal now when it's 5-on-4. It makes all the difference going into those last few minutes.
It does, you know, if you can pull a goal back within these 2 minutes and actually capitalise on the power play, you know, you're not, you know, it's not so much of a steep hill to climb in those final few minutes that you have got left. And, you know, the pace of the hockey they've been playing, it's certainly doable.
Last few minutes, looking at that Sutton bench, players are slow to get off the ice. Shot, it's a goal!
Laschek!
Stanislav Laschek brings the Sutton Sting within 1, and we finally got a game.
Well, it's his hat-trick goal, but Dave, what were we just saying? Capitalise on the power play, make sure you've got that goal back, so the remainder of the period, you're only chasing 1 goal. Sutton can use the energy now off this goal and slowly get themselves back in it. It's only 1 goal to find. We could be looking at another overtime game.
They have 7 minutes and 53 seconds to even this score up, and providing they keep the pace and the heads up, it is perfectly achievable. And the question is, what does a goal at this stage, nipping at the heels at Widnes Wild, what does that do to change the game plan or the mentality on that Widnes Wild bench?
Well, certainly, you know, you're going to want to try and keep away the puck from the Sting, even if it means going back to basics hockey, you know, dumping, chasing it, and just bricklining that blue, you know, the blue line. You can't really let them inside that third. That's where they're really being dangerous at the moment. And obviously, you know, a lot of people say the best defense is good offense. Make sure you're driving that puck deep into their zone.
Shot there from Bullock. And again, driving at that net. 7 minutes left in the game. Widnes really starting to work. They know that they need the comfort of that 2-goal lead.
Right now you can see them driving the puck in, playing inside.
Martin took that shot there, screened by Ollie Barron. Hoping that he could just beat out the netminder. Couldn't quite get past Croyle, and Croyle's had a great game.
Yeah, you're noticing now the forwards are really using their own Widnes defenders to try and screen the Tendy, because have you noticed, David, it's usually 1 or 2 Sting players breaking forward, and then they're trying to hold up players, the rest of the team skate in.
That's right, of course, looking at those lines, we're seeing an awful lot of Manning, of Brittle, of Ollie Barron. This is a line that's been out an awful lot this game, and you've got to wonder at what time do the Widnes Wild start to give that first line a bit of a break, bring that third line on and rest up. Don't forget, that semi-final, the third line were pivotal in some of those points.
Certainly.
They're certainly capable.
You can see it now, that they are really, you know, some tired legs out there, and they are inviting that pressure on now, and Sutton is certainly capitalising on that. You know, we said it from the start, the minute you start taking your foot off the gas and inviting that pressure, the opposition will respond, and in this case, it's playing right in Sutton's hands.
It's another break in play, Ben, and again, Widnes Wild stay out. They haven't taken a line change.
You know, maybe it's something that Ollie's discussed with the team. The only time this season that we've seen this, you know, they did it against the Dragons too, at D-side. They kept that first line on for a long time. Barron that game, 7 goals to his name. You know, but this is a different circumstance. You know, nothing against D-side, but it's a different tier of team. And right now, you know, they're really trying to make sure that they're doing the job and sealing the deal here.
It's a nice shot just a second ago by Johnson, keeping that pressure on. And again, almost beat out the netminder. Saw a piece of the net there.
Ooh, and that was a little bit tasty, that one, Dave.
6 minutes remain in this game. Valles goes back for that. Line change for the Sting, where it's still Barron, Brittle, Manning, Valles.
Right across the paint there, dangerous territory, that puck from Sting. But right now, Morris has got to be saying to his guys, it's the same guys out, come on, we need to start laying the body on, wearing them down, really grind into them.
A change for the D-line, but those forwards going hard or going home, as the old adage says. 5.5 minutes left in this game. Jackson sends it around the boards. But the Sting bring down that Wigglesworth, I believe.
Yeah, we're starting to see slow rotation from that Widnes line now. There we go, Manning leaves the ice finally.
And Brittle.
And Bracegirdle as well. So fresh legs for about 3 shifts now for the Wild.
So that third line finally on for the Wild. Refreshed. And a big contributing factor to the semi-finals. Let's see whether they can hold their team in. As Curzon dumps that in. Gives Sting time for a line change. And on comes their second line.
Sting trying everything to keep the puck deep in the Widnes zone there. Widnes forced to try and clear it out as quick as possible.
Sting looking to break out. They've got Martin, they've got Colton on. Goodman on that back line. Goodman who does such a great job at the point. and is physical, takes the body. He's just tried to take the body there with the big Turner for Widnes Wild.
That is a big ask if you're going up against Turner.
Just under 4 minutes remain in the game. Sutton Sting looking for that equalising goal that will take this to overtime.
And right now, we're having long periods of hockey. It's going to be tiring on those legs.
It's been a long time since the last stoppage in play. Martin takes the shot. Gilbert couldn't clear. And that's finally not clear by Bullock.
The game stepping up in tempo again. We're starting to see a lot more physicality, a lot of dirty, gritty hockey.
Shot by Brittle, and it's a goal for the Widnes Wild!
And surely that's got to be it, Dave. Stuart Brittle with the all-important breakaway goal. And you can see him celebrating there with his team. The Widnes fans are on the feet. We said it at the start, we've said it all season. 3 dangerous guys, 3 very prolific shooters, and now possibly 3 playoff champions.
And the reaction on that Sutton Sting bench, dejection. Chances starting to whittle away now. With only 3 minutes left and 2 goals in it, the Widnes Wild have got to feel confident.
Certainly, you know, they're back out on that first line again. I think that's what they're doing, Dave. Best defense and good offense. They know this line can put the points away.
Quick shot there on the netminder. It was covered up. And Croyle going to freeze that puck with just over 2 minutes. 2 minutes 48 remain in the final period. And it looks as though we're in a position where the only avenue really for the Sutton Sting is to take a timeout, rest those legs, think about what they're going to do. Well, I suppose the question is, Ben, at what point do you pull this netminder?
To be honest, Dave, you know, it's one of those, it's always very dangerous as and when you do, but that 6th skater on the ice can be all the difference. Right now, though, Widnes seem to have every pocket of ice covered up in their own zone. So, I'll be honest, if they don't do it by 2 minutes, I'll be surprised if we see him go at all.
It's been a huge weekend of hockey here at Planet Ice Widnes. We want to thank them for having us here and for bringing the NIHL Laidler Conference playoffs here to you.
Dave, just picking up noticeably, every time there's a stoppage in play, Guilfoyle's having a quick look at his bench, waiting for that nod. So you are right, possibly. We could see him pulled soon.
We'll let you know as soon as we see him skate to that bench, but Sutton Sting need to put a lot of pressure on the front of that net. Really increase the traffic before they think of doing that. And we have a delayed call coming up, do we not? No, the linesman had his hand up, thought that might be a delayed call.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to call Stanislav Lavchek offside. Lavchek just decided to skate back on. We're into the final 2 minutes.
Barron shoots.
Great save there from Guilfoyle. Barron forcing him down quickly.
Lavchek skating quite sluggishly. Lingering back. I think there's...
And it's gone! We were waiting for this. Barron seems to have his arms around one of the players there. The shot came in. Butterworth that's involved in that by the look of it. And Johnson as well. But the shot coming in from Stanislav Lavchek at the blue line. Big one-timer.
So we have a Widnes Wild player heading to the box. That's Andrew Turner. So he's going to be sat out for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, so the one-timer coming in from the blue line from Lavchek. Lavchek there hits it. It bobbles down. Croyle's got it, glove side, and it was almost as if they tried to poke it out from under him. Obviously, Wild not impressed with that and answering. Well, Dave, we spoke about it yesterday in the Telford Sting game. They had the opportunity at a 5-on-4 to pull a net minder and take it 6-on-4. The Widnes fans are screaming up now, but you can see them discussing on the bench now, taking the opportunity in this break of play while they assess the penalty. Should they pull a netminder now?
Well, that's the question. You could make this a 6-on-4, two-man advantage, which would really make a difference. But I suppose the question that Sutton needs to think about is 90 seconds enough time, 6-on-4, 5-on-4, to pull back 2 goals? There's been a frustration with Sutton Sting during that last play. I think we saw a few players. Speaking of frustration, Ryan Johnson's going to be sat out for Sutton Sting, and he doesn't look happy with that call. Exchanging some words there with Andrew Turner across the penalty boxes. And the referees are going to have a few words with the captains. So this makes all the difference now. We are in a position where it is 2-minute coincidental minors to both men. And it's...
I think it's stand-up hockey time, Dave.
It's stand-up hockey time. Crowd are on their feet. Commentary team are on their feet. I dare say our studio's on its feet. Not the studio itself.
I'm hoping it's on feet, Dave.
As we prepare for the final 90 seconds of this game. And this delay, you've got to think, favours Sutton Sting in that they have, well, both teams, Sutton Sting, have some time to think about that play, when they're going to pull the netminder. But for Widnes Wild, as a team that's iced their first line for a lengthy period of time, they've had some time to recover.
So we can see now, you are quite right, you know, that play's being discussed. It's got to surely be any minute. You know, but the first line of Widnes is very dangerous. You know, all it takes is that one loose puck, and for someone like Valles, example, who's got that burst of speed to jump on that, once he's past that blue line, it's fair game. And if you've got a gaping wide net, he's going to make you pay.
I think this is going to be a long shift now for that Widnes Wild first line. And it's crunch time for Sutton Sting as the players get ready. Some instructions there from the linesman to the Widnes Wild bench. And that's just going to buy a few more seconds worth of rest. It's all valuable at this point. No timeouts have been taken yet, to my knowledge.
And the goaltender's gone.
Goaltender's gone. 6 skaters on the ice for the Sutton Sting.
And there's another man going to the box for Widnes. That's Armstrong.
So Armstrong's in the box. That's a 10-minute. Serving that for Turner, presumably.
The most important minute and 30 seconds of Sutton's lives is now.
Puck bounces out, saved, shot. Morris gives it to Goodman. Morris and Goodman gets it to Colton. Takes the shot, lots of traffic, puck bounces high, and he couldn't keep that in.
Widnes good enough to clear it.
Goodman's done such a great job of keeping that puck in the zone, just couldn't quite reach that with 5 men crashing the net. We are in the final 50 seconds of this game, and the Widnes Wild looking confident. Shot goes right down the ice, just misses the net by inches.
Widnes looking for the quick line changes. There's confusion at the benches.
Quick line change for Widnes. Sutton Sting just carry on. Down comes Laschek. You can see the speed, the energy as this team now desperate to get that shot.
Misses the back door.
Last check just held up slightly by Pavel Valles, just couldn't get that in. And a valiant save there by Manning, just took to the floor.
Manning lays his body on.
Final few seconds, Vaschek tries to get it across to Butterworth, couldn't reach him. 11 seconds left in this game. Puck's cleared.
It's a final 10 seconds.
Widnes racing down. That's
Manning's on the puck.
Manning takes the goal!
And that's the championship winning goal there.
Widnes Wild, and the Wild are the playoff champions with 2 seconds left on the clock.
Well, we knew it was dangerous to do it. It was all or nothing, the Hail Mary of hockey. They went with it. Some absolutely great defensive work from the Widnes Wild. It was that one loose puck with all it take. It happened, and it was Nick Manning that jumped on it.
We have another penalty for what it's worth. Johnson's in the box for the Sutton Sting. Netminder's back out, 2.7 seconds. So we're going to have a face-off. But the Widnes Wild, 6-3, win that face-off, and the game's called.
And they've let the clock run out there.
And the team races over to Matthew Croyle and celebrates with him. What a fantastic effort in net tonight from him.
Well, we spoke to Ollie Barron last night, and he said he wouldn't accept anything but retaining the silverware here at Planet Ice Widnes. It's exactly what they've done. They've got to be elated with themselves. It was a hard-fought game early on. They broke the history books with that comeback in the second period and really found the form. And then that third period, well, that was something else.
Fantastic effort, and of course, Sutton Sting played valiantly. A great semi-final. A great semi-final performance by them. Just couldn't quite beat out the Widnes Wild. And it's as I said, Ben, on the semi-final, during that outro when the game was finished, I said that the Widnes Wild were going to carry forward the kind of momentum that a overtime shootout victory brought with them. Yes, it was a late game. Yes, it was the game prior to this that there was going to be a lot of exhaustion possibly, but you can't beat an adrenaline rush like that to pump you up and bring you into this game.
Oh, I totally agree with you, Dave. You know, most people would have looked at the record books there. You know, if I was a gambling man, I'd have said, well, I fancy Sutton, to be fair, because they've got the fresher legs. You know, they were the first game yesterday. They had the longer rest period. You know, they took the lead. So you fancied them to take the silverware as well, to be fair. Wild, though, had that wild card in that it was their home barn with their fans. They had a point to prove. They call them what you will, call them a cornered animal, for example. And they came out like one, fighting, scratching, biting, did everything they needed to do. They saw the puck over the line, and at the end of the day, it's been a hard game for them, but it's a totally deserved result.
Absolutely huge victory for Widnes Wild, and of course they've had some successful seasons, very young team, new to the NIHL since the setup of this building here in Widnes, and they've really given their fans a treat since their inception.
Yeah, you can see obviously all the Widnes fans on their feet there, really applauding the team. It's been, you know, it's a great following here at Widnes. It's a great team. It's a great setup they've got. And you know, it's a nice cherry on the cake, if you will, to, you know, to show that they can also take home silverware.
Let's think back over the course of the season. Let's think about the form of these teams. Sutton Sting, of course, they started out the blocks early. They came away with 59 points come the end of the season. Looked like they were running away with it for a while. We saw some of those great games between Widnes Wild and Altrincham Aces. We saw a great rivalry there between two local teams, but when it came down to the head-to-head between these teams, Widnes took it each time. But as you say, Ben, form goes out the window when you come into playoffs.
Exactly. You know, you can't write what goes on in the playoffs because it just doesn't, you know, it doesn't stick to normal logic. Emotion gets in the way. More so it's a psychological battle than it is a physical battle on the actual ice. If you can get your yourself in the right mindset, you're already halfway there to the victory. It's just then the execution. And right now, it's obviously the Wild that were able to execute their game plan.
Well, we can see the medals and the trophy being set up just by the timekeeper's desk. We're getting ready for the presentations. So, we're just waiting to find out the man of the match now. MVP for the Widnes Wild is Matt Croyle, and well deserved.
Yeah, he was tested a lot, saw a lot of rubber tonight, and when it did come through, it was in dangerous shooting positions. Really good opportunity for Sutton.
When you think about the amount of shots that he took during that shootout last night, he came in fresh today and still was able to hold on to that victory.
Yeah, it takes a lot of guts, a lot of stamina, and a lot of mentality to do that. As we can see there, that Doxey picks up the man of the match for the Sting.
Yeah, Brady Doxey put in a great performance. Made sure he was always there with the puck, charging on net. Very rarely saw Doxey dumping and chasing. He crashed the net every time, gave it his all, and well deserved in my opinion.
So Dave, you've got to imagine the party is going to go long into the night for Widnes here as they celebrate their second playoff championship victory.
Well, the beers have come out on the ice now. A great night to celebrate, but an exhausting weekend for them, I'm sure. And I think there's going to be a few phone calls into the office Monday morning. The only problem with a playoff that takes place on the Sunday night then.
Of course, we mentioned it during that game there. A lot of these guys are still paying to play. This is a semi-professional, amateurish sport. It's one of them. It's only the very big clubs that can afford to pay their players. We did see a few of those clubs this year in this league, in the form of those EPL teams, filtering down from the Morley and the Laidler. But so far, it's going to be, looking to the future, a really interesting shape for British hockey.
Of course, it's been another great season here. Rob the Puck's been covering it all for both Laidler and the Morley Conference. It's been a pleasure to be down here covering Laidler over the last few days. And these teams, let's not forget, Telford Tigers and the Hull Jets, who came in here for those semi-finals and put on a classic themselves. Oh,
very much so. I mean, just mentioning the Jets there, you got Kieran Beach skated an absolute blinder yesterday. And other ones that spring to mind, Callum Bowley, what an absolute awesome player. Showed his Great Britain experience yesterday, skating up, carving up that defence. But I think the best attribute of the weekend, Dave, and I don't know whether it's just because it's here at Widnes, but it has to be the fans. They've been right there from the word go, from that first puck drop, and they've been loud.
We've had loud fans, not just from Widnes though. Let's
true.
Give credit to Hull, to Telford, and to Sutton, who've all brought a massive contingent with them, and they've all got behind their team. At times it's been hard to hear on the commentary because it's just been so noisy in the building, and that's fantastic to see so many people down here. And don't forget, find your local rink, get down here. I mean, you can see there we've got a clone trooper, I believe, a fan of the Widnes Wild, and of course he must have escaped Order 66 is all I can say, Ben.
Certainly, but obviously, it's one of them that British hockey at the moment is in a place where it can only really get better. We've got teams, coming through with such quality as the Widnes Wild and the Sutton Sting, and they're putting on performances like this that are absolutely stunning. And all I can say is, I can't wait for next season.
Of course, and you'll have all the details of the upcoming season on our BASN site. So get on basnradio.co.uk. Get on the Twitter and Facebook feeds. They're both at BASN Radio. Make sure you're following us. We'll provide you with all the details, all the fixtures for the upcoming season. That'll be September. I expect them to be up there sometime around middle of August, where the fixtures are finalised. But find out where your local team is and come down and support. I can't stress enough how important it is to have the support of fans here in the building, making a noise and supporting the sport. It helps it grow and it helps it stay alive.
Yeah, most certainly. We've seen it at times here, at like the 6th man or the 12th man, however you want to call it. You know, the fans make the game. You know, these guys could literally be skating here behind closed doors, and all this could be for nothing without the fans. And we really appreciate the support that these guys are getting. But it has to be said, if you're the Widnes Wild now, you've just taken home the silverware, there's the possibility of stepping up to the next tier of hockey here in Britain.
Well, the thing is, I suppose, with the unfortunate circumstances with the Premier League, we're going to see some changes over the next year or so with the league, with the structure of the league. And so, to my knowledge, there's no avenue for promotion and relegation this year. However, you've got to wonder, the Widnes Wild, how would they have done this season had they been in the Moral League Conference, had they competed with teams like the Billingham Stars, with the Solihull Barons? And I genuinely think the Widnes Wild would have held their own.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it right now, and you've got the likes of, you know, the Dragons were in there, Whitley Warriors were in there, Billingham Stars, Nottingham Lions. I think they were all points, to be fair, that the Wild could have taken away. So they just sat themselves in that nice mid-table nestle, like you were saying there, with your Billingham and that. They could have even, you know, challenged the likes of Telford, maybe Solway, but it was always going to be an off-script year with the inclusion of the XEPL. You know, Hull taking it away there as well. It was always going to be, like you say, an interesting one. But again, we come back to the game in hand, and you know, we've thanked the players, we've thanked the fans. I think the only people left to thank, in all fairness, are the officials, because without those, this game wouldn't have happened today.
And I think they've done a great job this playoff weekend. You know, the crews that they've had out, they've made sure that they called the game down the middle. They've called the penalties that were needed. We've not seen it get too scrappy. We've not seen a lot of fighting or
very
rough
much
stuff.
so.
They've made the game as clean and as fair as possible. And, you know, they travel all around the country every weekend to make sure these games happen and to get shouted at and be given abuse by players and fans. They know that's part of the job, but without them, we don't have a game.
Yeah, very much. I totally agree with you. And, you know, the level of officiating this playoff has been really good. You know, we've seen, like you said, some real good control by the officials. We've seen it on this season where, unfortunately, you know, the officials have let the game get out their hands and it gets horrible and nasty and scrappy and dirty. And, you know, that's not a great promotion for British hockey. I think what we've seen over this playoff weekend is it shows that we can play some nice, clean, technical hockey. You know, that we can break teams down the right way. And you can see now just Matt Croyle receiving his medal. But it's certainly been a long weekend. A lot of relieved faces on the Widnes side there, a lot of dejected faces. You can understand why. On the Sutton side,
you see the fans here, they've all stayed behind to make sure they see this trophy presentation. And we're still 3 months, well, still a long way away from the Stanley Cup being decided, but for the British season, this is it. This is as big as it gets.
Yeah, again, it's going to be some much needed and well-deserved rest for these guys for a couple of weeks before training camps all kick back in.
Well,
it wouldn't surprise me as well if you see a lot of movement around as well.
There will be summer tournaments, no doubt. Summer tournaments and rec tournaments that these guys will play in. They are They certainly like to make sure they stay on the ice. I doubt many of these players will be taking long breaks over the summer.
And now we can see the important moment as assistant coach Mark Gillingham just goes over, receives his winner's medal. The fans applauding him there.
So, to take the cup, here comes the captain, Simon Offord. And he raises the cup. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2018 NIHL Laidler Cup Playoff Champions, the Widnes Wild. A fantastic sight there. Well done to both teams. Safe journey home to Sutton Sting. Gary, we'll send it back up to you guys in the studio.
Thanks for that, Dave. Well, you couldn't have asked for a more exciting ending, other than maybe a penalty shootout like we got last night, but I don't think we could have stood another one of those.
I called it. I called it. I did say.
Oh, where's the 5? Oh, my God.
I did say about 10 minutes ago when we were saying, I said it would be Widnes by 2.
It was 3.
I know, but I'm taking it because the empty net goal at the end, you know, it's one of them. But Widnes came out, they wanted it. It looked by the end, that last 10 minutes, Widnes wanted it. Sutton looked a bit lackadaisy. They lost confidence, where Widnes took the game to them. They looked like they wanted it, and it showed.
Admittedly, Steve, Sutton did look tired, and our commentators picked up on the fact that, you know, 2 very fast, high-tempo periods beforehand was probably taking its toll on the guys.
Yeah, so we were noticing up here, weren't we, about body language, and at times where the passes would just go in, not tape to tape, the body language looked a bit disinterested, and as the game played out, they started to look a little bit more and more tired, and you know, credit to Widnes, there was a few scrambles in front of the net here where, you know, it could have gone either way. 1 goal back, but fair dues, you know, they defended well and they got the result in the end.
Well, when Turner got that 4th goal for the Wild, you could see a few heads starting to drop.
I think it was Danny, but look, I've just been speaking to Danny down there, and he just said it was his goal.
Danny's probably chasing the referee for the goal. Yeah.
He just said he scored, so you know, I think it'd be a Harry Kane and Christian Eriksen moment. This one, you know,
okay,
yeah.
Well, somebody will claim it, but either way, that 4th goal for Widnes, and then a few heads started to drop on Sutton, but one guy who didn't drop his head too much, who we thought looked like he was losing confidence a little bit, starting to look like he was fed up with the day. Lazchek came out of nowhere and fired that great shot in for his hat-trick.
It says what sort of player he is. You know, there was at times when his body language, he just, things weren't going his way, and rather than just, you know, getting on with the game, he was, you know, smacking the boards and things like that. But at those sort of times, you need a big-time player, and he came up with that. Was it a slap shot from the blue line, wasn't it?
First time shot from the point, wasn't it? Very good, very nice, yeah, top shelf.
But it was weird because it looked like all the Widnes guys were just standing there watching it, and we were all like shocked because it got untouched straight through into the net, and of course it set the tempo. Then you could see Sutton suddenly had this fresh breath air coming into them. They were fired up again. You thought, right, we've got a game on our hands. It looked like something was going to happen, but Widnes front line, it's been on a long time. Our commentary team pointed it out. They've been on a long shifts there, and they were starting to look tired as well.
Yeah, but when you look at it in that sort of sense, the experience that they had of like Stewie, Brittle, you got Manning, you got Ollie Barron. Sometimes you don't have to skate full whack out there when you're out there. You can just read the game, you know, all they did was control the center of the ice. You don't have to do much skating. They just literally, as soon as they got the puck anywhere near the red line, it was in. And that way Sutton had to go back. So Sutton are using more energy by going back, setting up, and then breaking out. And Widnes just, that's all they had to do. Last 10 minutes, like I said, it was going to be that moment. And in the last 10 minutes, all Widnes did was get the puck, look, get it in. And then they were resting their legs, and Sutton were using more energy than Widnes because they had to go back, set up, break out, and then come back down. And Widnes just controlled the centre of the ice, pushed them out wide. There was a few times when, all they were doing was just pushing the players out wide, and they had to then go behind the net and then reset up, and that's using a lot of energy, where Widnes are just, okay, we'll just keep the house, as it's called, and that's all they did.
Well, of course, Sutton putting all that pressure onto the Widnes net, at some point, that opened the back door somewhere, because Stu Brittle broke away and made that extra 5th goal there for them, put Widnes ahead by 2, and you got to think to yourself, job done.
Stewie deserved that goal. We were saying up here, he was one of the contenders for man of the match. You guys were saying that, left, right, and centre. And for a player of his calibre to not get a goal in this sort of game, I'd just been speaking to him, and he just said, he was a bit disappointed at times. He should have got more than what he deserved, and he got his goal, and it was well deserved. It was well taken as well,
He skated well tonight, didn't he? He skated really well. That first line of Widnes skated really well tonight as a unit. Yeah.
But the thing is, though, desperate times call for desperate measures, and we saw Sutton pull their goal, their netminder. You said it up here. You said it. Our commentary team spotted it. It was just a case of when they called that, when there was that breaking play, and you could see that Buzzworth was pulled them all over to the bench. They were going through stuff on a board, and then he was waiting. Guilfoyle was just waiting for that nod, and suddenly he was gone.
You've got to do it now. You've got to do it. And in the NHL, you're seeing more and more where the coaches, it used to be like last 40 seconds or last minute. You're seeing coaches doing it in the last 2 minutes now, because at the end of the day, if you're going to lose by a couple of goals, it doesn't matter, does it? If you can just get that 1 goal back, which, by getting that extra guy out there, you might as well just take that risk. So, it nearly pulled off for them, because there was a couple of scrambles in front of the net. Again, some good defensive play by Widnes just to make sure the sticks were taken away. And, solid goaltending tonight as well.
Manning deserved his goal at the end with that open net, because the way he dived in front of that puck, that was a game changer. With a minute to go, and they had that slap shot from the blue line, and Manning just threw himself in front of it.
Turner did one as well, wasn't it? And Ratcliffe as well.
Yeah.
Took one for the team totally. So
Well, I was going to say that, because obviously you pull your netminder, you leave yourself wide open net, and of course Manning got that all-important 6th goal, sealed the day for them.
See, sometimes when you pull a keeper, though, you're trying to get that puck down the other end to try and score. And Widnes weren't looking at that. Widnes were thinking, okay, they're going to come at us. Let's defend. Let's get let's make sure that we're defending. And then if we get the opportunity, then take it. A lot of teams, this is why a lot of teams, sometimes concede, is because they're thinking, oh, we need the puck. I'm going to go down and score because it's an empty net, and they chase that empty net. And where tonight, Widnes didn't. They just sat back, okay, they let Sutton set up. They dived in front of the puck, and then when they took the opportunity, Manning had that chance, and he went down and put it away. He made it look so simple.
Well, we called it black and yellow ribbons on that.
I called it.
You called it. I know you did. Aaron Davis called it. So thanks for your help today, guys. It's been great having you in the studio. And with that, we're going to hand over to Ben, who's going to interview a couple of guys from today's game.
I'm with captain of the Sutton Sting, Scott Morris. Scott, disappointing result there for you guys. Really hard fought, but...
Yeah, absolutely. Guttering, really. We are really gutted. Thought yesterday, watching the game against Hull, the Widnes game, we thought, you know what, we can take this, definitely. And I think that showed going in. I think going in, we sort of had a bit of complacency, thinking that, we wouldn't have to turn up fuller and do it. And as it proves, particularly first 2 periods, we were just outworked. We were second to every puck. And that told story, I think, tonight. So, yeah.
You mentioned complacency there. Obviously, you guys did take the league title. Do you think a hint of complacency crept in there, and you thought, you was almost set to win this?
I'd love to stand here and say, no, we kept professional, we kept going the whole way through the season, no matter what. But I think if you just look at our results after winning the league and our performances at the national final, I can't say we didn't. I think, in honesty, our goal this season was winning the league. I think coming in, a lot of teams and a lot of fans didn't expect us to get anywhere near that, and we sort of... we got that, and I think then we took his foot off at gas a little bit in trainings and in games, and I think that's cost us tonight, and I think it cost us last week as well, a lot.
So looking back, that first period there, taking the 2-goal deficit early on, what was said in the locker room to try and turn it round for that second?
Well, to be completely honest, we never minded a 2-goal deficit, because a lot of games this year, we've gone down 2 goals and we always seem to come back, particularly against teams like Altrincham and away trips, and we've got that character to do that, and that's what we were sort of saying in the changing room, to say, you know what, we've been here before, we've done it lots of times, you know, we can come back from this, and we did. We got it back, and I think that showed early in the second. We came out fighting, but again, I think we started to tire then a little bit, which is not an excuse, because Widnes, you know, they had an extra 5 minutes last night on penalty shots, so it's not an excuse that we were tired. But Widnes played it really well. They were really smart. As soon as they got that lead, they played a trap, and it just tired us out, and we didn't really have anything to counteract that a little bit. So.
And you look right at the end there, the decision to pull a netminder. We were talking about it in commentary with the 6-on-4. You'd imagine pulling, and then you did so. How hard was it to try and work that puck around and get that shot off?
We had to do it, you know. If we didn't pull him, it'd be like, why don't you pull your keeper at that point? I think it's always devastating when you pull the keeper and concede a goal, because it sort of flatters the team a little bit more. And I'm not saying that Widnes didn't deserve it, because they fully did. But what they do very well, and they've done it well all season, is when they do get the lead, they know how to shut games down. And tonight we went 6-on-4. We got the puck and they let us have the outside a lot of time, but they just clogged that middle of the net. So any shots we had coming through were bouncing off leg pad skates. They were shot blocking. You know, you could just tell from the off that they wanted it more, and you know they got it. So yeah. Now
looking to the future, personally for yourself, Scott. Obviously, we'd like to ask what's going on with the team, but nobody knows because of the league structures or fixtures or anything. What are you hoping to achieve going into the future now with your hockey?
You know, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I've been around quite a bit. I just want to enjoy it, if I'm honest. I've not got many years left. I just want to enjoy playing. And as a person, you know, I'll always enjoy playing at the highest level, you know, competing as much as I can. That's what I want to do. I want to play well, I want to win, and test myself against the better players. So for me, you know, next year I'd hope to be in the NIHL 1 if the league structures are the same with Sutton. And that's what I'm hoping happens next year. I hope that, you know, we make that step up, because I think this year we've proved that, you know, winning the league over a long season, you know, we've got that talent to move up, but it's just whether or not everything's in place, we can get the sponsorship in place and stuff like that. So that's what I'm looking forward to. The off-season will be quite telling, I suppose.
Well, Scott, you give us an absolutely awesome weekend of hockey, and we thank you for that. Obviously, commiserations on the result, but we certainly look forward to seeing you next season.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
I'm here with Danny Bullock. He's technically one of the local lads. He's been here from the start as such. Great win out there, mate. How do you feel?
Oh, wonderful. It's lovely to come away from a tough game where we're technically classed as the underdogs really in the league, and we've come away with a massive win yesterday, especially. It was an even bigger win to battle back from 5-2 and get ourselves to the position today was a really good achievement in itself. So yeah, really.
It looked out there that Turner got awarded the goal, but you did the celebration. We've got a bet up here actually saying that I said that you scored it. I think you got a touch on it, but it's going to be a Harry Kane, Christian Eriksen thing. So did you actually touch that? Did you put that goal in?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I mean, Andy Turner he'll believe till the end of the day that it was his goal, but I know it was mine, so we'll leave it at that.
Well, I saw the celebration, and it was like one of my celebrations. Just lose your head, and you've just scored in the playoffs. So, you know, and I thought, you've got it. And then all these up here were going, actually, it's Turner that got the goal. And then it got awarded to him. I was like, no, I'm not having that. So this is why I'm doing this interview, to clarify the fact. So now, well, I called it as well. I actually did.
I'll take it. I'm fine.
I actually did say that you guys would win by 2, because I thought halfway through the game you guys looked, you seemed to set back. Yeah. You seemed a bit tired out there. Was that because of yesterday?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we really had to battle back yesterday, and it took a lot out of us. And playoffs always takes a lot out of you mentally, especially. You've got to really keep yourself composed and and keep moving forward. But yeah.
Well, it seemed like the last 10 minutes was the crucial part, and you seem to use the first 2 lines a lot in the last 10 minutes. Yeah. You guys, when it comes to the last 2 minutes, though, you really pulled together. I think your coach as well called it. What was actually said over there? Because we were concentrating on Sutton up here, because they had pulled the keeper and, he called them around. What was actually going on over your side?
It's a massive case of, you really got to try and keep a level head. And, nothing silly, nothing through the middle, everything up the boards, chip everything off the glass. And I think we really executed it really, really well.
You just won the playoffs, mate, so I think it worked. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's it.
I'm now joined by Mark Gillingham, assistant coach of Widnes Wild. Mark, You've got to be really happy with that result.
Yeah, it's a massive victory for us, especially at home. We did it last year in Sheffield, and good travelling support with us there. But to do it in front of our own fans, we've got a big crowd in. It's makes it a little bit more special.
Well, you mentioned it on the commentary several times. Do the Wild ones make the extra man on the ice?
Oh yeah, 100%, and we're probably the team in the league with the biggest away following as well. So even on the road, they're a massive help for us. They're behind us all the time. And when we come here, the smaller building and the low roof and the noise that they make, that energy tonight and last night as well, it's really given us a boost and it's helped us to this cup.
Well, of course, the fans have been here for the full weekend of hockey. We've had an excellent weekend of hockey at Planet Ice Widnes here. Let's go back to that very first game, obviously, against the Hull Jets. Obviously, there was got a little bit of a game plan there. We did speak to Ollie last night, but he was being very coy, cards close to the chest. Can you open up a little more to us? What was the game plan there?
I think that our primary game plan was to try and match them for energy. We know they're a big skating team. We tried to go first line for first line. Their first line is the most productive line in the league. Their experience that's on there is massive, and I think probably saw early in the game that we were trying to outdo each other on line matches off the bench. So it was a bit of a bench battle as well. I like to get involved in those where I can do, and running the bench, it's a bit of a bonus. We don't often get those in this league, so it was nice to do a bit of thinking. So yeah, we went line for line, and then we started pretty well, but then second period dropped off. We didn't really play where we wanted to play. Pulled it back in the third, and then we saw the drama that unfolded after that.
Obviously, yeah, that drama. What was going through your head there as you were obviously selecting your skaters?
To be honest, I really calmed down at the end of overtime, and it's a bit of a lottery after that. So I just told the guys to enjoy themselves. We got guys that wanted to take the penalty shots. We weren't picking guys. I don't think it's any use to anybody forcing somebody to take a penalty shot. We want to be somebody who's comfortable with the pressure. So the three guys stepped up. We put them in the rotation, and they did the job for us.
Now, attention's obviously turned to tonight's fixture. Sutton, you knew they had a hard game against Telford. Telford made them work. You'd gone into a late overtime yourselves in that shootout. What was the game plan heading in?
Again, it was matching them for energy early on. We knew that they'd probably be a little bit fresher than us. We probably got home a little bit later than they did last night. Didn't have as much recovery time, so to match them stride for stride early on, we made a good start to the game. To go in at the end of the first 2-0 up, it was a big bonus for us. We knew it would be a difficult start for us, so to get the early jump was a big bonus. Again, second period, we let them pull back into it, but to go in with a lead at the end of the second compared to where we were last night was another positive. Then heading into the third, it looked like we had the energy. That was a big boost to us. We looked like we had the legs over them, which we perhaps didn't think we might have, because they've got some young kids in there who are perhaps a bit younger than some of the guys that we've got, ran 4 lines and ran with that energy. So to outskate them in the final period was a huge positive.
Now, obviously, you mentioned no lines. We mentioned it throughout the season. That first line of Ollie Barron, Stuart Brittle, and Nick Manning, that is something to be feared.
It is, and there's almost telepathy involved in some of the stuff that they do. Coming from the Sheffield system, it's been a massive boost to our club being able to pull them in here. So yeah, to see them work is a big bonus. But we've had depth this year as well, which we probably lacked a little bit last year. Our secondary scoring's been a lot stronger than it has been in previous years. So in a weekend like this, where I think we've probably had the strongest Laidler playoff weekend that we've ever seen in terms of the depth. You look at the teams that have missed out in Altrincham and Sheffield, who in previous years would have been absolute shoo-ins into the playoffs. For us to come and win a playoff weekend with that kind of quality, it's shown that our depth's there as well.
Well, it just leaves me to ask, what does the future hold now for Widnes? Where are you hoping this to go?
It's a tough one to say. We'll see what happens with the league developments over the summer. Seems to be that sort of ever-changing picture. We never really know where it's going to stand, but we're a club that's looking to progress. We've got the fan base, we've got the support here for supporting a higher level of hockey, and we'll see where it goes. So
let's imagine that they do stick with the current league structure, and you had the opportunity to step up there in the morally with the big boys, those ex-EPL clubs. Do you think you'd hang with them and put some points on the board?
We'd look to, yeah. We'd look to put the points on the board, and you look at what Nottingham's done this year in that league, and they've survived with a team that was built similarly to ours. So I don't see why we couldn't survive there.
Thanks, Mark. Well, some absolute great action this weekend, and now over to a quick word from our friends at Elite Hockey UK.
So thanks to Elite Hockey UK, some great prizes there that we're going to give away. So watch at the end of this programme and we'll give you an idea of how you can win those things. But guys, what a weekend of hockey we've had. I'd say my heart was still racing after last night. And I think it was a little bit today as well, although it wasn't quite as exciting. But what a noise. The fans were fantastic.
Yeah, obviously, you know, we're here, as I said to Mark there in the interview, the fans can make the extra man, and they do. Widnes is a very unique rink in the form of, it's not a very high ceiling, and you know, it's quite a narrow rink, so it's a small unit altogether, and it echoes that noise when the fans get loud, and naturally the fans are loud here at Widnes anyway, so that just amplifies it even more.
It is a unique rink in my opinion. I mean, it's compact. It's you feel like you're on top of the ice compared to other ice rinks. But I don't know, it is the staff have been so friendly as well.
It's a great atmosphere here, and from what we're hearing from some of the guys who we speak to who have been on the away end of things, even they like playing here. The ice surface is good, the rink quality is
Steve
good.
mentioned it in his
yeah. So this is a rink that was perfect, I think, for this kind of playoff setup, where we could get a good crowd in, where there was plenty of room for us to set up and do this kind of thing, and it's just been a positive experience.
Talking of experience, I've got to ask you guys, what's been your highlight of the whole weekend? Ben?
For me, it's got to be the penalty shootout last night at the Widnes game, and not necessarily the winning goal. It was the first time Dicknell took to the ice. That shot, man, that he let go. Poor Ballwater did not know where that was going. You heard it ding off the underside of the bar. Dicknell, man, bit of a dark horse. He had that hidden in his back pocket, unleashed it at the right moment.
Dave?
It's got to be from the same game, but that equalising goal from Widnes, when they tied that up and we knew that it was heading towards overtime, the building was electric. I couldn't hear anything over the shouting of the people, over myself. We were on our feet. From that moment until the end of the game, the whole crowd was on the feet. We, from the commentary position, were bouncing. Nobody could sit still. It was completely electric.
I think I've got to agree with all the two of you on that, because that penalty shootout game, for me, it was the tie goal that brought it to 5-5, and how close it was to time, and I was just like, oh my goodness, we're going to go into overtime here. I couldn't believe that it was so close, and that goal did it, and I just thought, I didn't want it to end, and then when we got overtime, I was like, amazing. And then obviously we got that confusion where we thought it was just going to be like
sudden death.
And
how good would that have been? 3-on-3, sudden death, overtime.
But it opens the ice up so much, doesn't it? And it's as much as I like it, it was interesting, but you can't beat a good penalty shootout. Unless you're England in the World Cup. Well, that's the way it goes. But over the last 2 days, we've met some great people here, all involved in hockey in one way or another. But I think a big thank you goes out to Planet Ice Widnes, Matt Lloyd and all the staff who've made us really, really welcome here, and we do appreciate that. To all the fans, to all the teams that have been involved in this. I know that you guys mentioned it at the closing points and the commentary there. To Telford, to Hull, to Sutton, and of course to Widnes. Didn't have far to go, did they? Also to 482 Days, who have been here doing Twitter runs all weekend. To our production crew, who are the unsung heroes doing this. They work tirelessly to put out this show for us. To all the guys from BASN, to Dave, to Ben and myself, Pete Sheffield, we have Conor Murphy on camera, and of course we've got Andrea Pickersgill on camera as well.
And Gary, can I just say, it's the one thing that I always make a point to mention, because it's for me, it's one of the biggest things. It's the families of our crew and everybody here at BASN who are happy for us to go out all weekend and film all this hockey and then take it away and do the editing and do all the post-production work that needs doing on it. They're the ones who've got to put up with this obsession of ours.
Why did you do that? Now I've got to buy somebody some flowers.
Anyway. It's very much so, but I think, you know, right now we're at a really nice place where this is the end of our season, it's the end of the hockey season. We'd love to bring you more Drop the Puck next season.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, of course, as you already mentioned, you can catch all previous episodes of YouTube channel, which is BASN Radio. Catch us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Go on Facebook, you can find Drop the Puck. We always put stuff up on there, and BASN as well. So without further ado, we've had a great weekend. It's been fabulous. Congratulations to Widnes. And I've been Gary Lee.
I've been Ben Lee.
I've been Dave Griffiths.
And we've been Drop the Puck. Competition time on Drop the Puck, and one lucky winner picked at random will win some great prizes courtesy of our friends over at Elite Hockey UK. A t-shirt, a training top, and we'll even throw in a wristband. All you have to do to win these great prizes is go onto YouTube, look for BASN Radio, click on the subscribe button. It's as simple as that. Winner will be announced on the 1st of August, so good luck.